Hey everybody, welcome back to Mel's Board Game Room, where me and Travis are doing our top 100, and we're now in the top 10. This is the really good stuff. Now, we were just kind of talking a little bit. I think I have 3 crossovers, and I say think very loosely here because I put the presentation together. So I'm pretty sure it's like 3, maybe 4 crossovers on my side.
And I think I have 4 or 5, I think, that are going to show up.
So we'll have to see. Now, before we get into that, we do have a sponsor for the channel, and that's Games and Couples with Oshrat Online Counseling Services. And what they do is they do couple counseling utilizing a lot of the Gothman method couples therapy. And what they've discovered is that putting those principles into practice really came across when you were playing board games, specifically when they were playing cooperative board games.
Sure.
So they fit a lot of board games into their couple therapy, which I think is just amazing. So be sure to check them out. We'll have their link down below.
Perfect.
So Travis, top 10.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Good stuff coming ahead.
Oh, I don't even like this one. No, I'm totally joking.
Yeah.
So my number 10.
Yeah.
So this is a Rosenberg game.
Okay.
It is a fairly heavy Rosenberg game.
Okay.
Is
it one of the crossovers or not?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. This is Caverna.
Oh, yes. No, I've never played this one, so it can't be a crossover.
There you go. Okay.
Yes.
So we owned Agricola and played it a bunch, and then we ended up getting a copy of this and got rid of Agricola.
Okay.
So now Agricola has more diversity.
Right.
This is basically, you start out, this is what the board's going to be, this is what your options are, go.
Okay.
So it's less asymmetric, I suppose.
Right.
But it's similar to Agricola in that you're building a farm. The difference is that you're dwarven cave farmers, because that's what dwarves do. They mine and dig out their caves, and they farm because they got to eat. But they also go and do some battling.
Oh, okay.
So in Agricola, in Caverna, what you're doing is you're going to be doing a worker placement thing. So you have a board set out in front of you with the same as Agricola had, where you're going to have like 7 different options available. And then every round, a new option will open for worker placement. So you might be able to make babies, or you might be able to collect a pig or a cow. And you can keep a cow in your barn or in your caves because they like being in caves sometimes. But you're basically excavating your cave system to build your house instead of building a house like in Agricola. And then you're still building your farmland and trying to get as many animals on it as you can. But a neat thing that they added to this, at least in my opinion, is because you're dwarves, you can see in the picture there's a dwarf with a little token on top of it, like the little circles are the dwarves.
Okay, yeah.
And on that circle is the number 9.
Right.
So that is a warrior
who
has a strength of 9. So one of the options you can go on, so you can see the bottom card on the tableau on the left-hand side there, has a little 2 there. So it means you get to go on 2 journeys. So you're going to assign your worker with your warrior, so your 9-valued warrior, and you get to go on 2 journeys and bring it back 2 rewards that are a 9 value or lower. So you get a little card that shows, I think it's 12 or 14 or something like that, different options you can get for rewards. So your early rewards might just be some straw or a pig or something like that. Whereas the later ones you might be able to bring back a whole brand new room.
Oh, wow. That doesn't travel
so
easy.
It's important. Wow. So yeah, but but it's important to level up your warriors.
Right. So you can get the good stuff.
On some of these things. And then all the upgrades and stuff that you can get for your rooms are on a board off to the side. So one of the options is to develop a room. So you're going to excavate the cavern. Once the cavern's excavated, you can build a room on it. So you're going to choose one of these rooms, and they all have very unique power. So one might be the cattle room. So every cow that you have in your thing at the end of the game might be worth 3 extra points or something like that. Or you might have a thing that lets you gain more straw when you take the foraging action. And yeah, like it's very, very similar to Agricola.
The battle thing is definitely unique to Caverna, sounds like.
Yeah, so they added a whole bunch of stuff like that. But
nice.
Yeah, like if you like Agricola, you'll like Caverna.
Right.
It just depends on if you like the asymmetry of Agricola, where you're going to start with a hand of cards, and that's kind of where you're forced to go. Or with Caverna, you can kind of choose and say, okay, I'm going to focus more on crop growing this time. So I'm going to get shops inside of, or I'm going to build rooms inside my building that let me get those extra things. So, and I know they've come out with a couple of expansions. I bought the one, it makes it so you can play it solo as a campaign.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
So I haven't even opened the box yet. So I will eventually.
Great.
Well, yeah, it's so good that I haven't opened the boxes. And then there's another one that lets you actually, it's called Friends and Foes or something like that. So it gives you, so everybody's a dwarf in this game. That one gives you different races that you can start as. So you can be an elf, a human, a goblin, or something like that. I haven't picked that one up yet.
And there's a 2-player version, Cave versus Cave.
Yeah, Cave versus Cave is a 2-player version. I don't know how it plays compared to this one. We've almost only played this 2-player, my wife and I, and my eldest son and I played, and it plays fine. Yeah.
Same with Agricola. Like I have that one. I've played it. I think every time I've played it 2 players, and it was great. I also have small, all creatures, small and big and small, or whatever. Yeah. And it's a really good game. It's more condensed. I think it's quicker to play, but it still gives you that Agricola feel. But yeah, I've never played Caverna yet.
So I wonder if Cave versus Cave does the same thing. It just shortens the game a little bit, because Caverna is a little bit longer of a game. Like it can take a few hours to play, depending on how many players you have.
Yeah.
But like I was playing, you can play it solo as well. So when I played solo in half an hour, and I think it's basically half an hour per person.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is what's going to happen. So because it is turn based,
right?
But yeah, it's just I think it's my favorite Rosenberg.
Oh, nice.
Pretty sure. I don't think there's anything higher on the list that's him, but. Yeah, I mean, all his games are great, and the whole feeding yourself is a little more forgiving in this game than it is in Agricola. Like, actually, now that I think about it, I don't even know if you have to feed your guys. I think you do, but
yeah, because I hear that's quite a bit less of a struggle in this one than it was in.
Yeah, whereas you had to spend like half your time getting food to eat, whereas this there's more options for it for sure. So
nice.
But yeah, so that's my number 10.
Nice. I mean, and that's number 10.
Caverna.
Wow.
So good.
Because I mean, Agricola was on your list as well, quite a bit lower then.
No, I don't think it was on my list.
Oh, it was on my list?
It was on your list, I think.
Was it?
I don't think I had Agricola on mine. No, I think I did. Yeah.
Because you're like, we don't know how it's pronounced.
Oh, well, we do. It's Agricola. But anyways, this is pronounced Caverna.
Caverna. Nice. My number 10, honestly, this is a game that I just have not heard about in the board gaming world per se.
It's probably not a crossover.
It's not a crossover. Okay. I've played it for the first time with my friend Murray. He taught it to me. I purchased a copy, like an older version of this game, because it was reprinted recently. I'm saying recentlier than the first version anyways. Okay. I purchased the auction at FallCon, and I've played it again at Card Treat, and every time I play this game I love it more and more, and it is so good. Hence number 10, and that is Tinner's Trail.
I don't know that I've heard of Tinner's Trail.
And that's the thing, like, it's not a game that you hear about. It's Martin Wallace game. Martin Wallace is great.
Yeah,
this game is so good. Oh my god, it is so good.
Well, yeah.
So this one I think is the newer version. I have mine here somewhere, and it's beige looking.
Okay.
It's so, okay, and if you go to the board, like, you have this map, and it's an Old England map, and you're going to be like kind of creating mines. So you're gonna bid on the different land portion to be able to go and mine it.
Okay.
Now, depending on different things, like, because there's different action that you can do, and the action is going to cost so much and you move so much ahead. But then if you like, somebody's already there, then you go on the bottom of it, and then whoever's kind of like next in line would get to go, or last in line would get to go again. The action, movement, and selection is so good. And certain things are only available because you play in 4 rounds. So some actions are available first round, then in second one, and then third, there'll be new things that comes along. Because as the industry progress as well, right? So you'll have the mine. You'll put your little building to show that this is yours. You've own this one now and you can mine it, and depending, like, because you have the cards that you're bidding on and they're face down. Now you can mitigate where you can go and see what it says like ahead of time, that, oh, okay, so I know what this is. But then at the beginning of each round as well, you roll the dice to see what the value of the different minerals are going to be also.
Okay.
So that's going to change as well. So it has a strong economic feel to it. And then, so I'm like, okay, so I don't know anything about it. I know that that person's looked at it, but like maybe they're bidding because it's crap and they're trying to get me to outbid. Sure. But you have like limited resources to begin with. Like everybody starts with the same amount for the first round, and you're going to be acquiring different things. And it's like, okay, sure, so I buy this land. Okay, I have this mine now. Flip the card over. Not bad. So there's so much copper and so much iron or whatever it is that can be mined there. Okay. But there's also a water element to it because you got to get the water out of the way in order to mine. And as you mine, afterwards, you add more water cubes afterward. Okay. And the water cube acts as a multiplier to the cost.
Sure.
So water is bad. It's just because water is in the way, it costs more to get to the minerals. So, but then there's different things that you can do. So you can get a boat if it's on the edge and the boat's going to help get the water out. Sure. Or you can kind of build these, I don't know what they're called, but like tunnels between the two locations, and it's going to take water out of those locations. Now you can build that on a land that doesn't owned by anybody yet, and we still don't know what is on that particular mine, but you would kind of put a token that says -1 water when you do get access to it. Sure. So then when you're bidding, it's like, oh, that one's -1 water. That's pretty good. Yeah, right? So you kind of build on that. But it also has kind of a push your luck as well, because at any time you can end your turn, because first person to end their turn gets first crack at the market, and they can sell the resources they've collected at a slightly higher price than everybody else, right? Okay. So, but then what you accumulate in resources then and money is going to be the money that you'll have available for the next round to purchase more things. Another thing you can purchase, like at the end there, what you're doing is you can purchase victory points. And first one gets to purchase their victory point at a cheaper price. So, but then it's like, okay, well, how much money am I keeping to mine further next round? How much am I spending on victory points now? Like, and it is just a very interesting balance. Yeah. This game is so good. Oh my God, this game is so good. I just love it. Okay. And every time I play it, I like it even more and more. Yeah, it's one that I'll definitely have to try at some point in time. It doesn't look super intriguing to me, but I mean, if it's in your top 10, it's got to be great, right? Like, yeah. So I mean, and it's another, like mine. It's another mining game, right? It was a number 10 mining crossover. But like I mean, and I'm sure I have a couple of Martin Wallace games on my list, like. I think London was Martin Wallace, maybe, and like I mean, Brass, Lancashire, and Birmingham are Martin Wallace. Sure. I've played a few Acres of Snow from him as well. This by far is my favorite Martin Wallace game. It's just so good. Now I like the economic games, and that has a strong element to that. But it's so good. Yeah, no, I would definitely like to give it a try. No, that would be great. So. That's your number 10? That is my number 10, Tinner's Trail. Tinner's Trail. Mm-hmm. So good. So good. And you know what?
I really like the new box art. I know what the old one is, but
Yeah, I'd have to find it, but it's Bezier.
yeah, I don't know.
But you know what? Like,
it's intriguing.
the map itself is still the same map.
Sure.
Like, you really don't lose a lot in the like the look of it. The
Sure.
old game still looks good,
Nice.
as good as this game looks. Right? It's kind of a dry theme a bit, but
Yeah. Sounds
yee,
good.
so good.
Nice. It's just so good. Perfect. Well, that's your number 10.
Yes.
Trail. Nice. So we're on to number 9.
Yeah,
Man,
just flying
it's
by.
going so fast. Okay. So this is a crossover with last week's. Maybe your number 20-ish.
No, it wasn't my number 20.
Okay.
Vampire Queen.
No, it was not. So my number 9 is about the desert. But it's not really about the desert. It's about what happens in the desert. When the wealthy get together and race a whole bunch of their
Oh, yes. So that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yes, my number 21. Camel
Camel
Up.
Up.
Nice.
Perfect. So Camel Up is such a great... Now, I don't even really call it a race game.
Mhm.
It's just more of like a betting game in my mind.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
it is a race game. But yeah, so, I mean, you explained it in great detail.
That was 2 weeks ago.
But that was 2 weeks ago. That's true. So yeah, Camel Up's just wonderful. So you have a whole bunch of camels that are racing around this board, and whoever gets there first is going to win the race. But what you're doing is you're picking up this cool pyramid that has a bunch of dice in it. There's one for each color camel, and then there's one gray die, which can either have a black number or a white number.
Yeah.
And you can drop a die out of it, and that's the camel that'll move, and it'll move that many spaces. So that's one of the options you can do. Another option you can do is you can take your bidding cards that you have in your hand, and if you think you know who's going to win or who's going to lose, you can take that camel color and stick it in either the win or lose pile.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always put in a second one or third one, and you probably will, because it kind
Things
of
change.
gets a little wacky, because when you're moving, based on where your camel is, any camel in the same space is going to be stacked on top of each other. So if you move a camel, the blue camel or the green camel in this picture here, he's going to carry the red and the yellow camel with him.
Mm-hmm.
But the neat thing is, with that gray die, if the white camel were to move right now, he would pick up that whole stack and move them backwards. So like it's great how it works. And then you can also bid on the legs. So once you've spent 5 dice, I think it is, once you've rolled 5 dice, the leg is over.
Mm-hmm.
And then based on whoever's in first, second, third, you can score points with that. And it's just, I don't know, it's such a quirky design. Like we almost don't even care who wins. It's more just seeing the hilarity that happens in it. Like we've laughed more with this game than I think any other game, because like it's guaranteed that blue camel's going to win. Like
it's
he's
so far
ahead, and then he lands on the black camel, and the black camel runs it back 3 spaces, and then he doesn't move next turn because not all the dice move, and then the black camel moves again. So all of a sudden, like yeah, it's
good,
so ridiculous, but so good. Yeah, and you spoke about it a whole bunch too. Like, I mean, the fact that it's close to both our top 20s.
Yeah.
Like, such a good game.
That speaks loudly. Yeah, this is an amazing game.
For sure. So, but yeah, so that's my number 9.
Number 9. I was going to say 19, but yeah, no, we're top 10.
Number 9.
Number 9.
We're in the top 10.
Camel Up. Nice.
Man, so
all right, my number 9 is a crossover from last week, I do believe. And this is a Viking theme game with dice.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And that's my number 9, Champion of Midgard. So you mentioned how the Valhalla expansion, and I've heard that lots, makes this game like essential.
Yeah.
I honestly, I yet don't have that expansion. If I come across it, I would pick it up. I just haven't come across it. I'm just trying to do that where I buy games as they cross my path, because if they haven't crossed my path, it's not meant to be.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm doing that less
Valhalla
and less
is
now.
meant to be, though.
Yeah, but this one is just so good. This is like one of my first bigger game that I purchased when I got into the hobby.
Yeah.
And it just appealed, and it was so good. So it's a worker placement with the dice and the battle.
Yeah.
And you can send your workers into all these different locations to acquire more warriors, which are going to be the dice that you're going to add to your player board. And you can only have, I think it's 8 or 10.
8 or 10, yeah.
Yeah, like that's the maximum that you can hold. But now you can also send them to go fight the trolls, or you can send them to go fight the monsters that's in the forest area.
Draugr.
Or you could go across the sea and go attack the bigger monsters. Now, those monsters are going to give you bigger rewards. You're going to get a lot more prestige points from them.
Yeah.
But you got to survive the journey first, right? And then you have these different boats. So you can build a boat yourself as well, or there's the public ships that you can use.
Sure.
But each ship has a limited space. So you can only send however many warriors as there's room, but you also have to make sure you leave room for the food as well, because you got to feed them throughout this journey. Otherwise, they're all going to starve.
Yeah.
And you'll kind of move your boat, say, okay, I'm going to go here. And depending on how far you go, how much food is going to feed. Like if the first 2, it's not too far. So 1 food will feed 2 people. But if you go really far, you need 1 food per warrior. And you kind of want to have enough warriors there that if you don't defeat the monster first round, because each monsters have a different hit point that they need to get destroyed by. So that means you need to roll your warriors and have that many like weapons showing on your dice that it's enough to destroy the monster. Now, they will attack back as well. And if you don't have any shield, you're taking all those hits and those dice are just gone, unless you have the expansion,
Sure.
the Valhalla expansion. Most of the time, it's fairly even. There was one time, though, like I mentioned last week, I scored 26. Like, I barely made it the first quarter. My battles were bad. They were all horrible for some reason. I just rolled blanks all the time.
Yeah.
all the time.
That's the problem with the base game, is that you can just lose from bad luck.
But I mean, I've played this lots, and it was once that kind of happened to me at that extent.
Yeah.
And the thing with the dice too, though, I find that's like the great mitigator between different player skills. Everybody's on an even kill here because it is luck driven a little bit, right?
Bit, yeah.
So, but yeah, you'll have, like, you get favors of the god that you can spend to re-roll. Like, there's other things that you can do to try to help along with your dice for sure. Mm-hmm. So they did help me with that one game though. But this game is so good. It is so good. I love it. I love it. So
the one thing that I do like about the expansions as well, and I didn't really mention it before, is in the base game you have 3 different types of fighters, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a swordsman, a berserker, and a
spearman. Yeah.
In the expansions, you can get shield maidens.
Oh, okay. So like they'll just protect more?
They're more shields, but can still do some good solid damage. Like I think they're double hitters with some shields and some double shields.
Nice.
There's archers who, I don't remember exactly how they work. I think they attack first or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Like, and then there's also Valkyries that you can get.
So right. Okay.
Valkyries
so that sounds really interesting for sure.
Yeah. So it gives you a little bit more variety in your dice that you get to use. And the base game is great. Like it's
honestly, it's made it to my number 9 base game only.
Yeah. And that speaks if it's making to a top 10 without what I believe is like essential.
Can you imagine? Like it'll be my top 1 once I get the expansion.
You know what? It might bump it up 1 or 2. It's such a great game. Like I love this game. This game will be in my collection forever.
Oh, 100%.
I don't ever expect on getting like some of the ones
it's
that
just
are above.
So good. It's so solid
But like there's a couple of my top 10 that will not be in my collection forever.
They did a second version of this game.
Oh.
I can't remember what it's called. Something else of Midgard.
And Reavers
of Midgard.
But it's a different game, I think.
You know what? Because what I love about Champion of Midgard is that dice rolling battle.
Sure.
And yes, you have dice, but you don't roll them in the battle. in Reavers of Midgard. And it's kind of more like different areas do different things. And it just took the aspect that I love so much about this game away, that I played it the one time and I was like, I don't think I ever want to play this one again.
Okay, that makes me feel good because I've let it pass on the used market a couple times. I've seen Reavers come up, and I don't know, like I love Champions so much.
Like if it was a complete different name, so I didn't have the Champion of Midgard expectation going into it, maybe I would have enjoyed it more.
Sure.
But to me, it felt so flat compared to this game that it was interesting. It had interesting element, but it didn't have what I love the most about this game. That was stripped. Checking. Yeah, it was just like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah, this is such an amazing pick. It could easily be in my top 10. Just I think it was like 11 or 12 or something like that. Like it was so close.
Yeah.
Like any given day, it could make the top 10 probably for me too. So
it's so good.
Yeah, such a good game. You're number 9.
My number 9, Champions of Midgard.
Yeah, such a good game. Okay, so now we're on to number 8. So my number 8 is a controversial game.
Oh my gosh.
Some people really dislike it because it's a hidden trader game, or a potential hidden trader game. And I would call it The Walking Dead, the board game.
Okay.
So,
yes.
You know what it is?
Yes, well, I did the presentation.
Okay.
And I think I'm cluing into which one. It's amazing how much I don't know, being that I made the presentation.
Well, there you go. That's okay.
Yeah,
it don't matter. So my number 8 is Dead of Winter.
Yes, that's what I thought.
This is another one of those Plaid Hat games that we've talked about.
Okay, Plaid Hat games is so good.
Plaid Hat does such a good job. And so I can't remember, I didn't write it down what Crossroads. It's a Crossroads system.
Oh, okay.
So what's neat is it's a kind of like a dice manipulation, worker placement kind of game. So you're going to have as many dice plus 1 as people that you have, and you're going to roll them at the beginning of your turn, and that's going to give you what you can do. So you're going to have a couple of different characters in front of you, and they'll have special powers, and they might be able to attack a zombie or do a search action. So, or they might have some kind of special bonus where they get to do extra things. But depending on what dice you've rolled and what the value is, you can spend those dice. So you might have a guy who can attack with dice that are 3 or higher.
Okay.
So if you roll a bunch of 2s, he can't attack this turn. But you might have another one who can. And it's neat because there's so many different things that you need to make sure you take care of, because if you ever get overrun in a location, the zombies will kill your people. If you ever have to travel between locations, we call it the die of death. I can't remember what it's called, but it's this red 12-sided die. And one of the sides, you just die.
Oh, nice.
But you don't just die. You also are infected. And wherever you were going, somebody else needs to die.
Oh.
So you can choose to kill somebody, or you can roll the die and hopefully they don't get infected and spread it further. But they're probably going to spread it further. So you should probably just kill the person. And and every time a person dies, your morale goes down.
Oh man!
And you have to make sure that so your every round that you play, there's a goal that you have to do. So you might have to stoke the furnaces. So you need to add some fuel to the fire. So everybody needs to add fuel. So on Mel's turn, she'll add face down a couple fuel cards, and I'll add a couple fuel cards face down. Then you shuffle those cards up and you reveal them. And hopefully you got enough fuel to do what you had to do. And if not, then bad things happen. So, and because there's potentially a hidden trader, I could slip some junk in that. And then be like, well, Mel threw junk in there. That's garbage. Like, what? She's obviously the trader.
What the heck?
But
pick on me for it.
Oh, it's so good. So good. And like some of the characters are ridiculous. Like there's a all mall Santa who is like, his superpower is you can kill him to increase morale by 1.
Kill the mall Santa?
But you want, well, because he's a drunk mall Santa.
Oh, okay. He's just such a bad Santa.
But you do want him because it gives you an extra die.
Right.
And then so you can go to these different locations as well and you can search. So you might need a weapon. So you might go to the police station and search for weapons at the police station. So you'll draw a couple cards and choose one and put the rest back, or depending on what your search parameters are.
Right.
But you might also find survivors. So if you find a survivor's card, you flip it over and it might just be one survivor. And if it is, you draw a new character from the top of the deck, you add them, and then next round you get an extra die and you can use them immediately. And then, but it might also be like just useless victims. So they just go into your communal area where you're living, into your compound, and they just take up food, because every round you have to feed everybody who's in the main place. So, and resources are not abundant.
Oh no.
So like if you get a whole bunch of mouths to feed, it's just a problem. And then at the end of the round, you attract zombies based on how many people are at each location. So it just gets out of hand really fast. And there's a bunch of different scenarios, and it's just, and then the crossroads thing is so cool. So they gave you this deck of cards, which at the beginning of your turn, so if it was Mel's turn, I would draw the top crossroad card, and it might say if, so Felicia Day is a character, if you know who Felicia
yes.
is. So it might say if Felicia Day is in play, this happens.
Oh, that's cool.
Or if John Butcher is in, this happens. And then you stop. You say, okay, everybody stop. Or it might say, if somebody travels outside, stop. And then you read this thing and you have a choice to make. So it might be like, you find, or you hear a mewling coming from the back seat of a car, and you see this, I don't know, some kind of food source animal.
Okay.
So you can either choose to rescue it, or you can just kill it and take it for food.
And eat it. Yeah.
And add one food to your supply. Or like there's some really dark decisions to make too. Like you might come across a survivor who has a whole bunch of stuff on them.
Do you take the stuff, or do you help them?
Take your stuff, or you can help them. If you help them, it increases your morale, but you also add a person to your thing.
And you got to feed them
your stuff. And yeah, like it's,
right.
Oh, it's so good. And they came out with an expansion, which is like a standalone expansion, which is basically the game again, just new characters and new locations. And then they also came out with a third expansion called Warring Colonies.
Okay.
Which you set it up between the two games. So you have one person playing the original, or one group playing the original, one group playing the expansion, and then the Warring Colonies goes between it. Now I haven't played it yet, but apparently you can like attack each other's colonies as well and steal from stuff. So
wow.
Yeah, it's such a good game. And then you got that hidden trader potential.
Right.
And everybody has a secret goal. Like, so I might have hoarder. I might need to have 3 food.
So you might not be contributing, but you're not really the trader. You
I'm
just
not
have
the trader, but I
goal.
also have to complete this own goal. So it does come to like one of the big complaints with this game is that you might get a player who's like, well, I'm not going to get my goal, so I'm going to make sure everybody loses.
Oh, yeah.
Which sucks. So you got to be careful who you play with. But I mean, it's so good. If you have people who are going to be like, yeah, let's do this. You know, I'm not going to make it, but you know what? I could give you this and I could give you that. And then you guys will get your goals and we still win. Like it's still a moral victory but yeah, it's such a good game. We've played it with so many different groups of people and everybody's always loved it. So,
nice.
Yeah, that's my number 8, Dead of Winter.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. So good.
Cool. My number 8 made my top 100 last year, but last year I didn't own it. And I had only played it one time. And I think it was like top 50.
Wow.
So since I've come across the copy, I've purchased my own copy now. And I've played it a few more times. And every time I play it, I still love it so much.
Obviously.
It is so good. And this is like a card worker placement game. Because it's worker placement, but you place the card as your worker. It is so good. But then there's a card there that you pick up. And then that's going to be part of your next round. Do you know what it is yet?
I have no idea.
Maybe you haven't played it. My number 8 is Gugong.
Oh, I've never played it.
It is so good.
Yeah.
So if you go to the board, because it starts and you have different cards in all the different locations. So in order to activate that location, you need to place a card that is higher than the card that is there. But the card you pick up is then going to be part of your deck next round. So you don't want to just give yourself all crap cards either.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the card, you play the card so you get to activate that location and do what's there, but you also get to activate the action that is on the card itself as well. So you can do that also. Now, the higher value card doesn't have like an extra thing. Now, I think it goes from like 1 to 9. Now, if there's a 9 card, in order to be able to play over the 9 card, you'd have to play a 1 card, and then you get to take the 9. Which is great, because then you have a 9 and you can play really pretty much everywhere other than where the 1 is, right?
Sure.
So like you're setting yourself up for the next round as well. Now, if for any reason you want to go play and you don't have a card that is higher, you can spend 2 cards in order to get that 1 card. So, but you're kind of wasting a card, and you're like, one of them is going to go, I think is like the lowest goes in your discard pile. And then, but you get to do the action, even though you didn't have a card high enough to cover it. But you have all the different locations that you can do. So across the bottom, you have this river, and you can send like on this little raft. And then the further you go down the raft, it'll kind of activate different things that you can kind of get off the raft at any time and activate the action where you're at. But of course, the better action is closer to the end of this river. So you're trying to travel further down to be able to activate that if you can. You have the one location that kind of increases your popularity, and the more popularity you have, it kind of helps with your player order, but then like a tiebreaker as well, and then points also. And then you have this one location that you're kind of building a wall. So the more you have there, more action you can do. But every time the wall builds up, then you take your tiles like away and you activate, but everybody can kind of, if they want, choose to spend their popularity to get kind of some of the actions. Sure. And you got the top portion where you're traveling across the land and you're going from location to location, and you get to take the tile that's there and get what is on that tile. Then you have the one location where it's jade, and every time you go there you can purchase some jade, but then you have like cheaper jade, and after a while, so the sooner you get there, the better price you get on the jade, but then afterwards it's going to be a little bit more. But the more jade you have, the more points it's going to be worth as well. So that's another thing that's going to cost points. Then you have the other location where you can go, and if you build at that location, it gives you an ability that you can apply to the game. Some are going to be like end of score abilities. Some is like different abilities that you can do. But you need to kind of go and spend to do that. But what's interesting is if somebody's already gone there and you want to go and get that same ability, you're going to have to spend more. Okay. So, and then in the middle portion, you have like where you're trying to meet with the Emperor, and you've got to get closer and build up this track to meet up with the Emperor. And the game ends when everybody's kind of at the Emperor. So you got to make it there. But the first person to get there first gets more points, and then the second would have less, and then so on. But it is so good. And the whole action of playing the card to activate the location, which is like your worker placement, and then the card you take then becomes your next hand. It is so good. I just love this game. Love this game. I mean, it made my top 50 after playing it once without owning it. And then I've owned it. They've done a reprint, like a deluxe reprint of it, which is beautiful. Yeah. I don't have that copy, but my copy is still beautiful as well. It is so good.
Well, it's a nice looking game for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So no, I've never even heard of this game.
Well, you should.
So yeah, I mean, this feels like this might be number 47 at Melcon that we play.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, it looks intriguing for sure. I like Eastern themed games for sure. I find it intriguing. So
yeah, because we played it at Melcon last year with Keith's copy, and it was like the deluxe fancy copy. It was beautiful. I've played it again here at one of the game day that I had. It's just such a good game. Yeah. But in my group, definitely, I think I like it better than, like, I like it way better than Ashley did, and I like it way better than Carla did. But we have different tastes for sure.
No, for sure. But, and that's the great thing about this hobby is there's so many board games out there that you're going to find one that you absolutely love. Like, it's going to happen because there's so much diversity out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And we don't need to love the same games, but I mean, this one looks good.
I mean, they like it and they'll play it for sure because it is a good game, but I love it. Nice.
Nice. Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks intriguing for sure. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I wish I could add anything, but I've
You'll need to play it.
never even heard of it. So
wow.
so.
Yeah, I played Duncan's copy the very first time.
Okay.
And yeah, then I was like, okay, this is my top 50.
Nice.
And I need to get my own copy eventually because it's so good.
Yeah. Nice. Well, yeah, and I mean, I'll keep an eye out for the deluxeified version if you ever want a copy of that. So. But yeah, so that's your number 8.
That is my number 8, Gugong.
Gugong. Wow. Nice. I mean, it's a nice looking box for sure. So it would. I mean, if I saw it, I would pick it up for sure. So
as you should. It's so good.
nice.
So good. All right, now we're lucky 7.
Lucky number 7. So this is a crossover.
What?
Crossover. Now, unfortunately, your copy of this has been vandalized.
Oh my God. Who would do such a thing?
I don't know. I think
Sam
Healy vandalized your copy of
At
this.
my request.
At your request. This is Blood Rage.
Yes.
So Blood Rage is such a good game. I bought it and it fell victim to my 1 year of no playing and you're gone. So I had painted up a copy and it wasn't amazing. It was maybe the first game I ever painted, but I liked it. I was happy with it and I made all the monsters look like they were marble or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I sold it.
Yeah.
But luckily, I was able to get another copy just recently. I got it gifted to me with all the little expansions.
Nice.
But we were at that tabletop day.
Yeah.
And Sam Healy was there and he was part of a Blood Rage tournament and we pulled Blood Rage off the shelf and started setting it up. And I opened up the box and I was like, this is my copy. This is the one that I painted.
That you painted. That's amazing.
So I got Sam Healy to play my old copy and he commented he liked the paint job enough. So that was kind of a bit of a perk. So,
yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah, and then you got him to sign your box, which was great. So
yeah.
But yeah, so Blood Rage, I'm sure this was a crossover, right?
It hasn't made my list yet.
Wow.
Maybe it's not on the list.
Maybe she hates Blood Rage.
Maybe I'm not a fan of Blood Rage at all. Man. We'll have to wait and see.
But Blood Rage, what it is it's an area control game. So you're going to get a handful of cards at the beginning of the game. You're going to draft one, I think it is, pass it on. Draft one, pass it on. Draft one, pass it on. Discard the last 2. So you're going to end up with 6 cards, I think it is, per round. And you're going to play 3 rounds. So what you're doing is you are trying to increase the power of your own tribe. So you got like, can't remember what all the things are, but one gives you more rage. Yeah. And rage is your
kind of spending power.
Yeah, your currency to be able to do stuff. And then you can also get your axes, which is how many
warriors you can have on the board.
Yeah, well, I think axes is the value that you get if you win a
battle. Okay, yeah.
And then the helmet looking one is the how many guys you can have on the board. So you only start being able to have like 4 guys on the board.
Yeah.
But you can draft different characters. So you start with your basic guys. Just you got warriors, you've got a ship, and you've got a leader. And you have to spend resources or you have to spend rage to be able to put them out on the board. But you can also play cards out of your hand. So you might have a card that will make all your warriors, instead of their 1 strength, every 2 might be worth 3 strength.
Right.
So you can spend a couple of rage to play that card into your warrior and upgrade your warriors. Or you might have, on the top of the board, you can see all those monsters up there. So you might have drawn the sea serpent. So you can spend your 3 rage or whatever it is to play the sea serpent. So you add it to your board as one of the monsters you control, and then you drop them in one of the harbors. And he now has area control to the 2 spots beside him. Yeah. And then what you're trying to do is score points based on all kinds of different ways. Like there's so many ways, like winning battles gets you points. Losing battles can get you points. Having people die in Valhalla or in Ragnarok, because Ragnarok's happening right now. Yeah. So at the beginning of each round, you're gonna put a little marker out and you know in advance which areas are gonna get destroyed. So you put this marker out, and if you die in Valhalla, you actually get points. So and then there's other cards that you can get that upgrade stuff that make it more valuable if you die. Like there's so much to this game. Like there's so many options of what you can do with each of the cards and upgrading your characters and getting new monsters. And yeah, it's just it's so good. Like it's such a good design.
It's well made. I'm impressed with Eric Lang.
yeah, that guy. I don't know. He seems to be okay at his job.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I had half his talent, I'd be a pretty amazing designer. So, but yeah, I mean, I just love it. I haven't used any of the expansions yet. There's like Gods and a Mystics, and then a bunch of Kickstarter stuff that's really hard to get a hold of because it was kind of one-time printing. But,
geez.
But you don't. I mean,
the base game is great.
Yeah, it's so good, and just the card drafting gives you so much diversity over what you can do. And I mean, it's just it's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Like, I mean,
it's great.
Yeah, it's just such a good game. Try it. Come find me and try it.
It's worth it. Yeah. And this is one that, like, the first time I played it with Lee, and Lee is not a gamer, but he really liked this one. And this is a game that he will play. He really liked it. I bought this for my brother's birthday gift years ago and hadn't played it for a few years. And I was like, oh, let's play that game I got you. And then tried it and was like, man, I didn't buy this for me. So I had to get my own copy. And I think I got my own copy just a couple years ago.
Well, and it was hard to get them for a while. Like they did a reprint just recently.
Yeah, I found it at Board Games and Milkshake or Meeples and Milkshake in like a little store in BC.
Okay.
And they had like flat rate shipping. So I'm like, okay, great. I'm getting this. I'm getting this. I'm getting because make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I was so excited to finally get my own copy because it was not an easy one to fill.
No.
And they don't sell them because everybody likes it. So it's not like one that you find in the secondhand market very much.
No, it doesn't come up often. And like I've been looking for the Kickstarter one for a while because it's got a nicer box and a couple of cool extra monsters. Like nothing that matters. But, and an extra player. Like it adds a whole extra player.
Oh, cool. To it. Yeah. No, good choice.
I love Blood Rage. It's my 7th most favorite game. Could be higher, could be lower, very easily.
Nice.
But yeah, that's my number 7, Blood Rage.
Nice. Great choice.
Thank you.
My number 7 is a game that got me in the hobby.
Is it Blood Rage?
No, it's not Blood Rage. No. It's a game
into the hobby.
It's like the first true like modern board game that I got exposed to, and I was so impressed. And I bought it, and then I've recently played it again, introducing my local gaming girls to this game, and it went over so well. And I was like, oh my God. And it had been years since I had played it. And I was like, I still love this game so much. And having played it recently is like, yep, I still really love this game so much.
Is it one of the big 3?
What are the big 3?
Carcassonne, Catan, Ticket to Ride?
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
It's number 4, I guess. And
I don't know.
It's worker placement. Dungeons and Dragons themed.
What's it called? Waterdeep.
Yeah, Lords of Waterdeep. Oh my God, this game is good. This one is just one of those games that is so satisfying to play because it's worker placement, so you're going to the different location. Some of them is like, hey, you go here and you get black cubes, or you could get purple cubes, or you could get this. But you have these missions that you're trying to accomplish that requires a different combination of these resources in order to be completed. So you're kind of like on this quest to collect all of these resources, and it is so satisfying to do so. And then you can build buildings that is going to give you a new locations you can go to. And then when you get one, it's like, hey, great, this one allows you to get 2 black cubes, but it's my building. So if you go there and you get 2 black cubes, which is great, I get a black cube too. Or you get something back as well. And you get the intrigue cards that you can do different things with. You like this one. Oh my God, I love this game. And like I mentioned, we got it to the tables again recently, and everybody loved it. A bunch of them went out and bought it as well. Oh. And it just kind of re-sparked my love for it. As like, oh my God, yes, this is such a great game. It's a great, great game. Great to introduce somebody to kind of a worker placement genre.
Yeah.
It's super simple to play, but it is satisfying at any levels, like skill level.
Yeah. So so I've never played the physical version, but this is another one that, like, quite a while ago, 7-8 years ago, I probably got the app, and I played it while we went camping and stuff like that. Just on downtime, I'd sit and fiddle with it, and it was good. I was hoping for a little bit more theme myself.
Yeah, like, I mean, it is Dungeons and Dragons in words and names alone, probably. It could have been another theme and the game would have worked just as well. And you would be like, oh, but I thought this feels like a Dungeons and Dragon. It doesn't really. They just made it that way.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah, and I mean, just the fact that you said the black worker, the red worker, instead of the assassin and the wizard.
Yeah.
It just pulls the theme, and that's very common, but it is a really, really good game. Like, I quite enjoy the game. It's, again, one that I kind of forgot that I'd played.
Oh,
It probably would have made my top 100 had I remembered it. But yeah, it was just really intriguing, and I do like all the cards and stuff like that do have a D&D kind of feel to it. So you run into a Displacer Beast and stuff like that. And this is another one that I think I heard that the Scoundrels of Skullport adds like some kind of essential stuff that kind of fills the game out, because it is like almost Splendor level, I would consider.
Oh,
like it's
100%,
very, very easy to get. And that's why it's great, because it gets everybody to the table. Yeah. And I think the Scoundrels of Skullport added a little bit more to it just to thicken the game out.
I played one expansion once and I can't remember which one it was.
Okay.
But it kind of added blame a little bit, kind of like Lord of Waterdeep did, or you could but you could get rid of it. There's like, okay, do you go there? But I don't remember which one it was. My version is the base game and works great as a base game as well.
For sure. And this is one that I would definitely play. Like, I would have no hesitation to sit down and play it for sure. Because, I mean, I love D&D. It's a solid worker placement. Like, it's very mechanically sound. Like, it works really, really good. And it is one of those ones that, like, I mean, my one buddy has a copy of it framed.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Up on his wall.
Yeah, it's pretty for sure. You know what? A friend of mine house ruled that if you took a mission and didn't complete it, those were negative points.
Oh, I like that.
I want to try it that way. I think that would kind of change the whole feel of it.
Yeah, well, because then you can't just block somebody from
just I'm going to take this 25-point one, so you can't take it because you got a lot of these resources. But then it's like, hey, do you really want to take that 25? It's going to be minus 25. Like, yes, I think that would be a really interesting way of playing it.
Yeah, and I mean, the app did a really, really good job of introducing the game and playing it, because you can play 4-player but as a single player. Oh, okay, yeah. So it was really good. Like, it teaches the game great, and it goes step by step.
Nice.
But yeah, this is one that definitely, if you like fantasy even a little bit and you are interested in worker placement, give it a try, because
it's so good.
It's such a good little game.
Yeah,
it's a great pick.
So that was my number 7. Lords of Waterdeep.
Look at that. Nice. D&D at its best.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So we are moving on to number 6. So
my number 6 is so good.
Man, my number 6 is way better than your number 6.
Really?
No, maybe not. But this is a game that I just got the base version of couple weeks, maybe a month ago.
Okay. So that's new.
But our buddy Cherry has the super fancy deluxeified version, and I got to play it for the very first time with her little convention.
Can you go back?
Can I go back
to your base one after the deluxe?
Oh, yeah. It's fine. Well, because the deluxeified is just too expensive for mine.
Oh, okay.
But it's one that if I find on the secondhand market, I'll try to buy it and just sell my base version.
Right.
And then I played it, and it was amazing. Actually, the first time I played it, I think it was with you.
Oh.
And then I got to play it again, and it was amazing.
Oh.
And then I got to play it again, and it was amazing. And this is a game that I only get to play like once a year when I'm with Cherry, because she's the only one I know. And I finally got her to sit down at the table just a couple months ago and actually play Wonderland's War.
Oh, she does have a nice fancy copy for sure.
This is such a great game. Again, I'm pretty sure it's Manny Tremblay again.
Oh,
doing
makes
the
sense.
art.
The artwork is
So, like,
amazing.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So what Wonderland's War is it's basically an area control battle game.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that you get your workers out onto the board, like your soldiers out onto the board, is really unique. So first you're going to have a tea party at the Mad Hatter's Tea Party.
Yes.
And so everybody's a character from Wonderland. So I might be Alice, you might be the Mad Hatter, Cheshire Cat, the Jabberwock, and there's somebody else, I can't remember. Oh, the Queen of Hearts.
Right.
And I love the Alice in Wonderland theme. Like I've been a big fan of Alice in Wonderland forever. And so what you do at this Mad Tea Party is everybody, it's one of those games where when it's your turn, you can move as far around the table as you want, but you can't go back.
Mm.
So you're going to go as far as you want, and you're going to stop at a seat, and then you're going to take the card that's there. So the card might give you some Wonderlandians. So you might be able to get the Walrus to come join your team, and you could place the Walrus out in one of the areas, or it might let you put a couple of just your generic soldiers out, or it might allow you to upgrade something on your card to give you more power or more points when you score your castles at the end, or like there's so many different little opportunities to upgrade your character. So and then you go, and then the next person goes, and when somebody passes the head of the table,
mm-hmm.
they have to pause and they roll the madness die, because it is the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. So you roll the madness die, and you might take some madness shards in front of you. So, and those are going to be like negative points. So you're going to take those in front of you, but then you get to reset the whole table and continue on with your movement.
Right.
And something really neat with it, because so the first time I played it, I thought it was so funny because the Wonderlandians all go the same way around the table. They go clockwise around the table. But because Alice isn't Wonderlandian, she goes counterclockwise around the table.
Right. I forgot that.
So because I made the joke with you, because the immigrants drive on the wrong side of the road. So not funny, but it was, I enjoyed it a ton. But yeah, so you spend this tea party, you're going to go around and you're going to pick up, I think it's 4 or 5 cards. And after those 5 cards are picked up, those cards will allow you to put your people out on the 5 different locations.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to start in one of the locations. And the location's based on where the sword is. It's just a marker for where it starts. And then you have a battle there. And it's another one of those bag building games.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it earlier, I think. And so during the tea party, you might get some tokens or some chips to add to your bag. So you might get some card soldiers or some flamingos or something like that that'll do different actions. And then on your turn, or when you go to the battle, everybody who's in the battle, everybody who has a person in there is going to reach into their bag. So they can choose to grab nothing if they want, if they don't want to actually be part of the battle,
Mm-hmm.
or they can grab a chip. And everybody pulls that chip out and then reveals it at the same time. And you take that and you add it to your board as an exhausted chip, and then you move up your battle. So there's on the right side of the board there's that little brown track there, and it's showing the power of your battle.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to move up this battle track, and whoever gets the furthest before everybody else bails, or if you get to the end, you win the fight. But you can only fight if you have people in that area. So when you pull out your chips, you might pull out one of the black chips, and the black chips will kill your guys. So if you have a 1 or a 2, you just got to discard 1 or 2 of your guys. They're just gone from the battle, and that chip goes into your madness kind of area, and you can pull another one and keep going until you have nobody left in the battle.
Yeah.
And whoever wins is going to win a certain number of points based on what round it is and what location it is. And you can also put a castle out. So castle adds a little bit of strength, and it gives you end game scoring as well. And then you just move on to the next area and the next area, and you go around all 5 areas, and then you reset the whole thing. You do another tea party. You go through there 3 times. It's just...
This game is very involved. Like there's a lot of component. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like super hard to play. Because I remember the first time we played it, like that one time at Car Treat was like, but it was entertaining. But yeah, it wouldn't be ones like one of the, I just got this new game. Let's pull it out and play it.
No.
You would need to take the time to learn this.
Well, and some of the characters, like the last time that we played it was the first time that we used the Jabberwock, because he has some very unique powers, and we just didn't quite understand them. So Cherry wanted to play, and we had it because she hadn't played yet with me. So finally I was like, okay, I'll play the Jabberwock. I'll figure out exactly how he works. And he was mean, but he wasn't very strong, but he could hurt everybody else. So that was his thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just great. I mean,
yeah, interesting.
So good. I love this game so much. So I ended up getting the retail version.
Nice.
And instead of the cool heavy chips that the deluxe
oh, it's like a cardboard one?
The cardboard one. But I bought coin capsules.
Oh, yeah.
And just coin capsuled them. So the only thing that I'm really missing is the miniatures. And to be honest, if you're not going to paint the miniatures, I kind of prefer standees.
The standees, yeah.
Because the standees are colored. They look beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
It's such a good game.
Nice.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Great pick.
So that's my number 6, Wonderland's War.
Nice. My number 6, I was walking in the board game store, and I bought it fairly early when I got into the hobby, and then I stopped, and then I came back and I looked at it, and it was just such a stunning, beautiful game. And I bought it on looks alone. I had no idea how this game plays. They've actually redid a second printing of it just a few years back now. So it's kind of like regained a bit more popularity again. But oh my God, this is a game that I absolutely love, and Lee hates it and won't play. So it's not one that gets to hit the table very often, just because it's hard to find somebody who wants to play it. It's best as a 2-player game.
Okay.
And most of the time we're a big group of people, right?
Sure.
If it's not me and Lee. But I played it last weekend.
Okay.
It was so good, and the girls loved it.
Okay.
So I got a bunch of new dice and stuff coming for it because there's dice with it.
Oh. It's not Dice Masters, is it?
No, it's so
You've
much
got more
beautiful
dice coming for it.
Yes, just because the base game kind of didn't have quite enough dice, and it didn't have all the extra dice that some of the extra player characters you can play as. So this is Ashes Rise of the Phoenixborn. And it was recently redone as Ashes Reborn Rise of the Phoenixborn.
So I don't know if you realize, but you see who designed it?
Plaid Hat Games, yeah. Oh my God, I love them.
They had like 5 years where they crushed everything that came out.
Right.
And then they
and honestly, I have more from them in my top 10 here coming up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Like, I'm a big fan of Plaid Hat Games.
Nice.
But this one, oh my God, this game is beautiful. Look at the box alone. No, but like, the art is stunning. And then you'll play as a character in this one, and you can kind of go, and each character has its own kind of way that it'll play. The art is just beautiful. Oh my God, it's beautiful. And you'll have like your Phoenixborn, and you're battling Phoenixborn against the other Phoenixborn, and you have your spell book area where you can put different spells, and then you have your battle area, and then you have the creatures that you can conjure, and you'll have, but everything gets activated based on the dice that you have, and each character will play with like a different combination of these 10 dice, and you roll them. There'll be 3 options on there. Now the top symbol could be used as the middle and the lower symbol. It could be used as anything, but you can't do the opposite, right? So if you've played Magic the Gathering, this one has a strong Magic the Gathering feel from what I understand. Now, instead of like mana cards, you're getting the dice that you would activate. Because, yeah, the ladies that I played with over the weekends were Magic players. And then I was like, oh, let's give this one a try. And I said, oh, if you like this, we should play Magic. But then by the time we finished the game, it's like, we need to play this some more. So,
well, this is way cheaper than Magic, too.
Well, there's that. And that's the thing with Magic. I refuse to get into a game where you got to keep buying. And then whoever spent the most money has the advantage. I like that you buy Ashes, you have your characters. This is it. It's done. You could buy extra characters if you want, and I have, because they were selling the extra characters for $5 a piece.
Wow.
Like, it had lost interest that they were just selling it $5 a piece, and I kept buying.
Sure.
It's a no-brainer. So I think the base game comes with 6 characters. I probably have about maybe 10 or more characters.
Okay.
But then there'll be some characters that have like different dice. So I went to the Plaid Head Games and ordered extra dice because like right now you start where there's 10 dice. But if we're playing more than 2 players, you might have 3 players that needs the same variation of dice.
Oh, okay.
Hence why I got more dice just in case. And then there was the other dice that were part of the expansions, like extra characters that I got, but I didn't get the dice. So I got those dice to make sure that we could play with those characters as well. But, and this is like, now the thing that Lee didn't like about it is on your turn, you have a main action and a side action. With your main action, then the card shows what the main action is, and you would have to spend the dice if there's a cost associated with it to activate it, and you could bring out a spell. Or you could activate the spell and bring out a creature and put that into your battle. Or you could bring a card out from your hand and put that into your battlefield. Now you have an ally that's there as well. Or you could activate this spell that would kind of give something extra to your ally so that's a little bit stronger. Or you could go and attack either another ally or character from another player or attack their Phoenixborn, which they would have the option to protect with the other characters that they have if they choose to. But it wasn't, okay, on your turn you do this, and then you do this, and you do this. There's a lot more decision that you can do depending on what you want to do and activate. Mm-hmm. So it was too sandboxy, I guess, for him.
Oh.
That he didn't like. He's like, okay, so what do I do? Like, well, it depends. You could do this or this or this or this. It's like, but it depends on what you have for dice that you can activate, what you have in your hand that you can do. But then also, your cards are your life as well.
Oh, nice.
So as you play your cards, like you get 5 each round. At the end of the round, you could be like, okay, well, I didn't use these. I'm going to trash those so I get 5 new cards. But if you ever get that your deck is depleted and you're supposed to draw, your Phoenixborn takes a damage for every card you're unable to draw. So you don't want to go through your deck too quick. You want to be a little careful with that because it can deplete all your health. And then each Phoenixborn plays completely differently, and you want to try to get to kind of understand how they work. Sure. Like last one I played, I had this metallic snake that I could, like every time another character gets defeated, I could put a token on this one, and it attacks by the amount of tokens.
Oh, okay.
Right. So the longer I have it and the more I build it up, then the stronger it becomes. So you probably want to try to defeat my snake before it becomes too strong, because otherwise it's going to hit hard. Right. But oh God, I love this game. It's so good.
Yeah, it sounds like fairly Magic the Gathering. So like we play a bit of Magic in my house. My eldest son plays a lot. Mm-hmm. And it seems similar, but it does. Like, I wonder, like, I'm assuming everybody's deck is a little bit different, or are they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of have to get to know the deck. So I could see why Lee would not necessarily love it, because you play one character, then you play a new character, and you've got to relearn basically half the game.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, each deck will definitely kind of have, like, my one friend played the voodoo person.
Sure.
And you have the voodoo doll, and we kind of was like, what? Because the voodoo doll, like, if it's in play at the end of the game, you take a hit. It's like, what the heck? But you play the voodoo doll into the other player's hand. She had a lot of voodoo dolls she could send out. Now, you could activate the voodoo doll to kind of self-sabotage by 1 hit, but it has 2 health. So you're trying to, like, okay, well, I need somebody to hit this because it's going to give me a hit. Like, so that one kind of played more like that. Sure. While, like, another character is more like you keep bringing out these, like, misty creatures or whatever, and then they're just everywhere. And then when they get destroyed, like they do different things. So yeah, every character plays slightly different. But it's not super hard to figure out. You just got to pay attention to what the cards are, and then kind of, okay, I get what I want to do with this one. But it's good. Nice.
Yeah. So I've never played. Absolutely beautiful though. Absolutely beautiful. I wouldn't say no for sure. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great looking pick.
Oh, it's the most beautiful game in my collection by far.
Yeah, it's a piece of artwork for sure. You could hang that box on the wall.
Oh, I would hang that way before canvas.
There you go. Perfect. So that's your number 6.
That is my number 6, Ashes,
Ashes.
Rise of the Phoenixborn.
Wow. Nice. Isaac Vega. I know his name. I think his name shows up on my list in like
Oh,
a game or two, actually.
nice.
Okay. So that's
Number
our
5.
So we're halfway. Oh, man. It's crazy. Okay. So my number 5 is a game that I didn't do a ton of research before coming in, and you've never played. But I played a ton of it. It's a game called ISS Vanguard.
Yes, no, I have not played that one.
So this is a game by the same team that did Tainted Grail.
Oh, okay.
Which, again, you didn't play.
No.
But this is a space exploration game. So the idea behind the game is that scientists on Earth have unraveled the genome and found a hidden message in our DNA.
Okay.
And it was a star map saying, go to this place. So ISS Vanguard is this project that humanity got together. We built this gigantic spaceship and we set off into space. And this game is broken into basically 2 mini games within itself. So you're going to have an exploration game, and then you're also going to have a ship management game. So the way it works is you're going to have this big giant ship log book, and you're going to open up the first page, and you're going to go through page by page and just work through it. So you might have crew, so you can hire new crew. Or not hire, but you can train new crew. So you might get a new science officer. You might get a new whatever it would be. Mm-hmm. And then on the next page, you might develop some technology or start researching some technology so that next round, you'll be able to, when you're in the book phase, you'll be able to use that technology. And then you'll work through this book, and you might have people die, and you'll have a memorial wall. And you have to load up your drop ships because you're going to drop onto these planets because you're exploring planets to try to find more information on how to get to this big giant planet that you're looking for.
Okay.
So you're going to have a character in front of you. So I played it solo. So I played 4 characters myself because it said it's best to play with all 4 characters. So it was heavy. It was hard to manage all of it. But,
right.
But you would play 1 or 2 characters. You'd be fine. And your character is going to have these different colored dice on them. So they might be, depending on what your character is. So you might have a recon guy like this guy is. So he might have a lot more exploration type of dice. So he might have room for like 6 green dice on his board and 2 blue and 2 red or something like that.
Okay.
And then you're going to go out into the thing, and it's app assisted. You can also, I think they have a logbook too that you can flip through, but I just bought the app.
Okay, that
it
makes
made
sense.
it that much easier, and it read to me. So
right.
So you'll go and you'll land on this planet, and you'll go to different locations, and you'll explore them. And you might have to fight a bad guy. Like there might be some big giant alien that shows up, or you might have a colony of people out there, like not people, but like aliens of some sort. And you'll just communicate with them, and it'll be like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. You can go this way, go that way. And you'll have checks that you have to do. So you have to roll your dice. But when you roll your dice, they become expended.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, and you can only get them back certain ways. So you have to be careful, because if you run out of dice, you die.
That sucks.
Yeah. So your dice are your health. So you have to be careful, because you have to get all the way through this adventure. And some of the planets you land on will just be super peaceful planets where you just mine a little bit and talk to some people, get some information. And then you might go to one that's just a horrible planet with fire plumes and giant robots chasing you.
Oh, of course.
And yeah, so you're just working through this book, and it's a legacy style game.
Right.
So you don't destroy anything, but you do work through, and you have to develop your crew, and you can upgrade your characters, make them stronger. It was so great. And just recently I got 2 big expansions for it.
Nice.
So I can go through and play some more, because I played through the whole thing. But now you get to add alien species that'll join your crew.
Oh, that's cool.
And
yeah.
Like it's really just neat. And then you finish on the planet, you go back to the book, and then you go back to the planet. So it is a little repetitive that way, but just the development that happens in the book, and you have like machine shops in the book that you're trying to use to create new technologies and stuff like that. And Oh, it's so wonderful. I love it so much. Like it's such a good game. Like it's
nice.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like it's just so good. Like if you like solo games or games where you're gonna play like a long campaign, it's
This is perfect for that.
Great.
Nice.
It's great, and there's going to be a whole bunch coming up on the used market pretty soon because their new their full Kickstarter just released. Like I got the base game, like I paid for 2-wave shipping, so I got the base game about 1.5 years ago, and the rest of it's coming out now. So a lot of people are just getting their base games now. So I think there will be some coming on the secondhand market.
Right.
It's just it's
nice.
It's so good. So. Yeah, so that's my number 5, ISS Vangard.
Number 5, nice. Very nice. My number 5 is a game that the first time I played it with Lee. And I was so impressed. I'm like, oh my God, how good was this? And he's like, it's okay. And I was like, I don't want to play this with you because I'm going to save it to play with somebody who's going to love it just as much as I do because this game is so amazing. Then I don't buy expansions. But I bought expansions for this one from you. From you. And it's just, oh my God, this game is just so good. And it's like a whodunit. And I love whodunits in my books, in my movies, and apparently in my board games as well. And this is Chronicles of Crime.
Oh, not the one that I thought it was going to be. Okay.
Oh, wow. Surprise. Because I bought this from you, didn't I? Expansions from
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You also bought Destinies from me.
Oh, okay. That's why,
yeah.
Yeah, now this one is Lucky Duck game, and they do so good with this type of like app-driven kind of go through the story one. And this one is great because you have story that happens. You're in the police force, and then they're like, okay, you need to come to this crime scene, and everything has like those QR codes that you're gonna scan. And it's like, okay, so we're at this location, so you scan the location, and then on your phone it'll be like, oh, okay, so here's the crime scene, so look around and see what you see. And then you look around and you'll be like, oh, there's paperwork there. So you'll pull a card that says papers. And then you look and say, okay, well, there's like food or something on the table. Okay, so you'll put a card that pulls out food and be like, oh, there's this. I was like, oh my God, there's like a gun. Okay, well, weapon. And so, and you look around. Then if you're playing multiplayer, it's okay, now you go and look what you found, and then I'll pull the cards. And then you're like, oh, you didn't look at the ceiling. Oh my God, there's this, and you just look around. It's so good. Then you'll scan these cards and say, like, look at them closer. What about the paper? Well, this was just junk mail, nothing to see here. Discard that. Okay, sure. Perfect. No worries. And then you look at this like, oh, this cake looks like it's off. Something's off with it. So add that to your evidence. And then on the board, you would add it to the evidence. And then you have that. Now you can go and visit with the forensic scientist and say, hey, what can you tell me about this cake? So you scan that person.
Might be laced with arsenic.
And then you scan the cake, and then it'll be able, okay, yeah, let me run this through. And they're like, kind of give you some information about that. Now there's a witness around that was like at this crime scene, and you can scan them. Now you're talking to them. What do you want to talk to them about? Well, how about the victim? Did you know who that is? Oh, yeah, she's here all the time. Oh, okay. Well, did you know about the cake? No, I never seen the cake. Okay, well, and you can scan and ask all these questions, and then it'll be like, oh, there's a new location that came up, and then you could go to that location. Okay, well, let's go to that location and see what we can discover there. Now, that's going to spend some time traveling. So you go there, and then you talk to these people, and then you scan, and then at the end, you need to figure out a few different things. And you don't always necessarily know what you need to figure out, but you'll need to know, how did the person die? Why? What was the motive? What happened? Was there an accomplice? Who's the accomplice? Like, there's all sorts of stuff. So you really need to develop the story enough so that you've gathered the information you need to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
But, this is good. So this one here is like the police, your police officer solving crimes.
Modern day.
Exactly. Yeah. Noir kind of brings in extra elements of like, it's darker. You can intimidate your witness and kind of push them to get
a little 40s or something like that.
Yeah, and it gets a little darker. You have is it Riverview?
Yeah.
It kind of has like an Archie
Somervale or something. Yeah.
Right, kind of Archie theme to it.
Yeah.
Now I have the 1400 that takes place in the 1400, and you get visions in that one.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the it's 1,700.
Yeah, 17 or 18, and then like
Yeah.
23 or something.
And with
like
that one is like you're a journalist.
Okay.
And then your uncle is a police officer and will bring you in, but it takes over that one. And then there's 2,400, which is futuristic, and you have cyborgs and all that stuff. Now, I haven't played that one at all yet.
Yeah.
But I have all these extra things that I got. Plus, on the app, you can go and purchase extra scenarios for the games that you have as well.
For sure.
So there's that. But I'm hogging it until I find somebody who wants to play that loves it as much as I did, because it was so good.
Yeah. So I ran into the same problem that you did. So the reason I got rid of it is I sat down with maybe my wife and one of my kids, and we played through about half a scenario, and they were like,
My God.
I don't really like this.
You know, one thing that I think was helpful and good is I would play this game having my phone showing on the bigger screen, so everybody gets to see.
Sure.
So you're not one person with the thing, like everybody can see the screen. So I think that was helpful.
Yeah.
But oh my God, this game is good.
Yeah, I like. I mean, so the base one was okay. I ended up playing through it myself. The theming was okay for me, but the noir one and the Sunnyvale or whatever it was, like, man, like those just like it's Scooby-Doo or Archie, like it was just, man, I just, and I never got to them, and I owned 1,400.
Yeah.
Never opened it, and it's just one of those games that I think it just, the theming was wrong for the time. Now I'm hoping that because it's the one that Dark Quarters kind of, or is that more like Destinies?
Dark Quarters, I think, is going to be like a blend of both.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that one, like just the theme being like the bayou and stuff like that, I think that'll hopefully... I'm
excited for it.
Yeah,
I want it to be here now.
But yeah, no, I mean, great pick. And I know, like, I don't know how it works, but you can get promo cards. So I don't really know how that works, because like the like, I don't know. Like, but you can get like a Tom Vassell promo card.
Oh, that's cool.
So how do they work it into the game?
I have no idea.
So I just don't know. Maybe you have to scan it to just let you know that it's in the game, and then it
and it
fits them in there somewhere somehow.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize they made those.
Yeah, it's
neat.
It's pretty neat. So yeah, really like just brand new. Like nothing like it had been.
It was, and it blew me away, and I was like, oh my God, this was the most amazing experience from the tutorial. I was like, oh my God, it's so good. Yeah. It's so good. And Lee's like,
yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's tough when those around you just don't like it as much as you
And you can't, like, I mean, everybody's going to have different tastes. And
sure.
What appeals to one is not, but oh my God, this one appealed to me. I played it with my sister. She loved it.
Okay.
Right. Like, so that's a hit with her. And I've played with a lot of other people, and they do love it. It's just they're not readily available to play this game with me often.
Yeah.
So
no, that's fair. Nice. So that's your number 5?
That is my number 5, Chronicles of Crime.
Okay. Well, now that we got all this junk out of the way, let's get to the good games.
The good 5. Or the good 4, I guess.
The good 4.
Top
4. So my number 4 is a game about building a zoo.
Oh, yes.
And saving animals.
I guess so, yeah.
And releasing them into the wild. Mine is Ark Nova.
Yes.
So this is one of the games that came out a little after Wingspan, and they used some of the mechanics from Wingspan. They used some of the mechanics from what was it called? Civilization in New Dawn.
Yeah.
Where they have that card shuffling for your powers. It's great. So in this one has basically replaced all of those games for me, because the theme, I like animals.
Yeah.
And I want to build a zoo. I want to be a zookeeper, guys. Who doesn't? And this game lets me do it. So in Ark Nova, you have your own little player board of a zoo that you're going to build. And the idea is that you are going to get these animals, play them into your zoo, build up your zoo and stuff like that. And then you can score points by releasing some into the wild and getting conservation points. So this is a game that the first time I played it was at Melcon.
Oh, really?
And
nice.
we only played about half a game. So I think the winning score was like -28.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Because you have 2 alternate tracks going towards each other. So one is your like the excitement of your park,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one, or your zoo, and then the other one is conservation track, and they follow opposite to each other. So the game is triggered when they cross,
Right.
when the first person's crosses. So your score is only going to be like 10 or 12 points or something like that. Maybe 20 would be a really good score. And other people will have negative points because if they don't keep up. But
Mm-hmm.
and it's great. And you have that card system where you might have build and then get animals, conserve or something like that. But you use it at the power that it's at.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to the beginning of the line. So everything is going to get more powerful, but you might want to build animals 2 times in a row. So you have to mitigate that. And it's just, I don't know, it's great. It's so good. It's fairly complicated. There's a lot of cards that interact with each other. So when you take an animal, you're going to add it to your tableau. It's going to do different things based on all kinds of different, like it's a fairly complicated game, I would consider.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to explain all of it, but if you have the time to sit down, like it is a longer game, it's going to take you a couple hours to play, but it's so rewarding building your own little zoo. And yeah, I don't know. I love it. It's got a castle area in it, so you can't complain.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Have you played Ark Nova?
I've played it the first time at FalCon, this last one here. And it was an hour and 15-minute teach.
Yeah. It
that
was
was
a heavy
just a teach.
Yeah.
So I've purchased it since.
Oh, you
I
did?
have the Marine World expansion as well.
Nice.
I haven't played my own copy, mainly because I know I have to teach it to somebody
Sure.
in order to be able to play it. And that is so daunting to me right now. Now, the guy that taught it was very detailed. It may be too detailed,
Sure.
but he did such a good job as well, because afterwards we didn't need to go to him for questions.
Sure.
We knew what to do. Like, he had covered everything. But that was a long teach.
Yeah.
Alone. So
I feel like this is one that you can almost teach in steps. So like, I think you can get everybody going, and then, okay, so now the next thing you have to worry about is this. And then,
yeah,
because like the conservation track, who even cares about it for the first half of the game?
I suppose, right?
Like,
So
it doesn't matter.
yeah, but yeah, no, it was good enough that, okay, I want this game. I know it's good. And I think that once my gamers group like actually plays it, they'll like it as well.
Sure.
I don't doubt it. I'm just daunted by the teach. So maybe at Malcon, if we get this one played and then some of the local people, and then it's not just me teaching.
Sure. Well, and I would be more than happy to teach them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I've only got that one play so far, right? So I'm like,
I've played it 5 or 6 times now, and then I know it's on whatever that board game, video game thing that everybody uses.
Diced?
No, BGA maybe.
Oh, it's on BGA. Okay, yeah.
It's on one of the online, so you can play it for free even, I think.
Right. Nice.
But it would be on an app. If you had a slow player, it would take forever.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, so I mean, it is a game and it can induce AP as well.
Oh, 100%.
So that can drag it down. So you need to make sure you have people who aren't necessarily worried about winning specifically,
just
more focused on
wanting
just
to
having
play
fun
and having fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my number 4.
Good game.
Ark Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, my number 4. Oh my God, this game is so thematic and it's so good. Now, it's based on a movie. And the first time I played it, I hadn't seen the movie. Then me, Nick, and Lee went through the whole movie series and we watched it. And I was like, I have played a game about this. And I didn't realize just how, like, I thought the game was good.
Yeah.
But now that I'm aware of the movie, that game was even better. Like, that game was even better than I thought.
Okay.
So I was like, I made a point trying to find this game. And I couldn't find it. It wasn't available, but if somebody kind of thought, it's like, well, I would lend you my copy, but I want to keep it. I'm like, yes, please. So he lent me his copy and we played it. I have since got mine, and I've got a few variation of it now.
A few variations.
Yeah, you're looking around.
I have no idea.
It's so good. It's a deck building game, cooperative deck building game.
A cooperative deck building game.
Yeah.
Based on a TV or a movie series.
Movie series, yeah. There's different version of this one.
I don't know.
All right. It's
do we got?
Legendary Encounters
Oh,
Aliens.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my God, this movie. The movie's great, but
Yeah.
this game is so good. So you have your cards, and then you'll have to attack or to recruit. And you're getting more characters into your game. But then after every turn, you take this one card. You don't flip it over. You don't know what it is. You just know it comes from the monster card, the aliens deck, and then you put it down, and it's coming down this spaceship. It's coming down the shaft or whatever of the spaceship until eventually it reaches the kind of the open area, and then it flips over and it's a battle zone, and it's going to attack if you haven't destroyed it before it reached there.
Yeah.
So it costs so much to scan the room just to be able to see what the card is. And then once you scan the room, see what the card is, different things can happen. First of all, you have 3 levels of goals that you need to attain. And some will be you need to find these cards in the thing to be able to get to the next one. Now, this you can set up as the first movie, the second movie, the third movie, depending on how you put the cards together, you can play all the different movie scenarios.
Yeah.
Now, where it gets really thematic, and if you've seen Aliens, you can flip a card over and it's a face hugger. And this is the egg with this gross tentacly insect
kind of
thing that jumps into your face and attaches itself to your face. And while it's on your face, it's going to impregnate you with an alien.
As they do.
Yeah. So you have the face hugger, you put it next to you, oh shit, I have a face hugger. So you can destroy it if you have enough attack. But if you don't, it goes all the way around. Once it's your turn again, if you haven't been able to destroy this face hugger, now other people can be okay, I've got enough attack, I'm going to destroy that. So you destroy the face hugger, you save your partner, right? But if you don't, this face hugger goes away, and you get a chest burster that's put into your discard pile. Now, as long as this is in your discard pile, does not matter. It can't do anything there. But eventually, you're going to run out of cards, and you're going to need to take your discard pile, and you're going to shuffle. And at one point, this chest burster is going to come out, and this alien you're impregnated with is going to chop out of here, and you're dead. This game caused such anxiety. Now you can okay, I'm dead. It's up to you guys. You're on your own. Yeah. But we will lose this more often than we will win it. But that's what I like about it, right? And then and then you get the other cards in the meantime, because you still have all these other things that's coming in. There's an alien in the air duct, and we need to destroy it. And then it's okay, well, we didn't destroy it. Now it's in the combat zone, and every time you're in there, you got to take a wound card, and you don't know what the wound is. Yeah. Oh, great! This is a really bad wound. I've taken 3 damage, and it can't be you can't heal from it, or different things. Oh my God, this game is good.
Yeah.
I have the Predator version of this game. I have X-Files. I have 007. I want the Matrix.
Oh, okay.
I have Marvel. Now you have Legendary and then Legendary Encounters. Yeah, so they play slightly different. With Legendary, you don't die, but that's where you get the wound that clogs up your hand.
Yeah.
Legendary Encounters, you can die.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. But my God, I love it.
Yeah, so I have the Firefly one.
Oh, see, I don't have that one.
I don't know if it's Encounters, though. It might not be Encounters. It might just be Legendary Firefly. But I've heard that the Encounter ones are a better game.
I like the Encounter one slightly better for sure. Yeah, better. Yeah.
So now I owned Marvel Legendary for a long time, had a lot of it. Mm-hmm. And then I got Marvel Champions.
Yeah, Marvel Champion, I would say would be above.
Yeah, so Legendary. I decided I would keep that one over the Legendary one, even though my family liked Legendary a little bit more.
Oh, okay. But Legendary Encounters, to me, oh my God, it's so good.
So I'm hoping to get we haven't played the Firefly one, but I want to get it to the table.
Because they have what is it, Big Trouble in Little China. They have Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah. The Matrix is the latest one that came out, and I really want it.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, they're definitely using the IPs properly.
So good.
It's so thematic.
Right.
So yeah, and the Legendary system's amazing to start.
Yes.
And then the Encounters just steps it up a big step. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's an amazing choice. Now, I've never played this one specifically, but just from your description, it sounds
Oh, it's so good.
sounds
It's so
banging.
good. Just the anxiety and the, oh my God, that it creates is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, crazy. So that's your number 4.
That is my number 4, Legendary Encounters. Aliens.
And aliens specifically?
Aliens, my best one so far, yeah.
Sure. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we're on to number 3.
Ooh.
So my number 3 is the reason that Pandemic didn't make my list. So we talked about this earlier.
Yes.
So during the actual pandemic, my buddy
This
and
is
I,
when you got this one?
yeah, my buddy and I picked this up and thought, you know what, little tongue in cheek, let's be light and let's have a go at playing over Zoom Pandemic Legacy.
Nice.
So we ended up picking this up and we played it. And it was so enjoyable that we ended up buying the other 2
Oh, nice.
and playing through them as well. So we played 3 different
Legacies during the
seasons
actual pandemic.
during the actual pandemic in probably like a month and a half.
Wow.
Like we just powered through them. So
I mean, what else are you going to do during the pandemic for sure?
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
And it worked out well enough that we could play over Zoom. But
Nice.
in Pandemic Legacy, it is essentially Pandemic.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of difference. Have you played?
I've played Pandemic. I bought
Okay.
Pandemic's Legacy Season 1, but I just haven't played it because I
Yeah.
want to have the group that will come in, right?
Yeah. So, and it is definitely like, even if you just had one other person who would commit,
Mhm.
it's cool. Like I think BGG says 4 is the best way to play it, but we really enjoyed it at 2. Now I
Nice.
know my buddy's looking to.
Did you do like 1 character each or did you do 2 character each?
We did 1 each.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
So and just played it straight 2, but it is just Pandemic. But things happen to change the board, and you'll tear up cities. Like you might have a city that outbreaks, and if it outbreaks too much, that
Like
city's
it's
just
gone.
gone. You wipe it off the board.
Oh my God.
Because it's bad, and then like it's so great. And there was a plot twist around October because you play monthly.
Oh.
That just as soon as that happened, I'm like, this might be my favorite game of all time, just because of that one plot twist. I was like, this is so
I
good.
need to play this.
So, and it is just Pandemic,
which is so good.
which is a good
It's
game.
such a great game.
So I clumped all the Pandemics kind of together under one umbrella
yeah, of
of
course.
Pandemic Legacy.
Yeah,
So now I wouldn't put base Pandemic. It might not
As your
even make
number.
my list.
right.
But it is a good game.
Mm-hmm.
But this just added so much to it, and there was stuff that you scratched off and new secret stuff that you opened and tore up. And the first time I had to tear a card,
That's hard.
it was like, I don't think I can do it.
Did you save it for a while?
Oh, we kept it all in boxes. Yeah, we ended up having a bonfire with all the burnable stuff at the end.
Nice.
But yeah, it was such a good game, and each of the other 2 are equally just as good. Like in 2, at the very beginning, you start off with just a little tiny pocket of the world, and
Oh.
0 is set back in the past in like the Cold War era.
Oh, cool.
And they're so good. Like play them 1, 2, 0.
1, 2, 0. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't
The way
go
they
s-
came out.
Yeah, don't go 0, 1, 2 because there's big spoilers in 0 for
Oh.
season 1. But yeah, it's great. Like, I mean,
Nice.
yeah, it's so good. And you have characters that you can increase their abilities and get them stronger and stronger. So you can have like just these super powered characters. But you need to be, because so much crap is going on later on it's just amazing. So Chris and I are gonna set this up and play it again fairly soon. He's looking for a third. He doesn't want to just play it 2 this time. He wants to set it up with 3 of us and
Oh, nice.
go through it. So
Yeah.
as soon as we find that third person, we're gonna
Nice.
bang through probably all 3 of them, because we rebought all 3 of them.
Oh, nice. Like,
Yeah,
so
so-
good. They're like, let's do it again.
So they're sitting
You
on
know
my
it's
shelf.
good
Yeah.
if.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're $100 throwaway games, right?
Right.
So, I mean, the fact that we bought them twice.
Yeah. That
Says
speaks
something.
loudly.
So, but that's my number 3. The whole Pandemic system, really, but Pandemic Legacy specifically.
Nice.
Yeah, so good. And 1 was the best, I think.
Nice.
So,
Perfect.
yeah.
My number 3, I bought because I like Chronicles of Crime so much.
Okay.
This was by the same maker, and it kind of used a similar mechanism with the app. And I was like, well, I like this one so much, I'm going to get this as well because I think I would love it. I didn't play it for a long time. And then we played it at, I don't remember if it was at Melcom, but it was here.
Okay.
On a board gaming weekend that we had. It was me, Kayla, and Carla.
Okay.
And I was so impressed. And what is the downfall with playing with an app-driven game is you tend to have the one person that does everything on the app and the other ones are just kind of bystanders watching you play the game and moving things from time to time. But with this one it's like, okay, this is your turn. You do it. You go on the app and then you pass the phone over to the next person because they control their own action. And that app will show things that are specific to them. So you may not supposed to see it.
Sure.
And that is one that I got expansion from you. And that is number 3, Destinies.
Okay.
Oh my God, this one is good.
Perfect. So good.
So good. So what's really great about this one too is we're all playing all the different characters with this same story, but we are all on a different aspect of it. Like I know a certain thing and I'm trying to accomplish something, but you are doing something else and you're trying to destroy what I'm trying to save. And like, so just because we are on different aspect of it, and it was so interesting. And we're going across the map, and then like the map is mostly not shown at the beginning until you go there and it reveals. And then you'll have the destinies that you're trying to do now. You can accomplish in one of 2 ways, and you can scan like the different things that it shows you, but you'll need certain things. But then what you need might be what another player needs as well. So it's kind of like, oh, why did you take that? Oh my God, I needed that. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess I'm going the other way. Like, so
because you have 2 different destinies.
2 different destinies. Yeah. And sometimes maybe there's another thing out there. It's like, oh, there's another one like that you may not be aware of, right? So you just need to go and discover it. And what's really interesting, because you'll have different skill tests or different type of tests that you need to do. And then depending on how you've kind of mitigated your board and how likely you are to succeed, because you have these different discs and they start kind of somewhat spread out, and you'll have these dice that you roll. Now you can always kind of acquire an extra dice to help with your dice mitigation as well, and then you roll them, and then the total that it gives us is how much you're at, and then however many disc is at that number or lower is how many you can put into your scale. Okay, so I'm trying to pickpocket from the church like offering tray or whatever, or platter that goes around. And so I'm doing a skill test or agility test or whatever. And then it's like, okay, I roll badly. So I have 1. So 1, and you answer in the app, it's 1. Well, you got caught and then this happened, and it's like, oh no, dude, that was horrible, whatever. Yeah. But then if you're able to mitigate your dice or your disc so that they're lower down, then it's like, okay, well, I rolled a little bit better, but I did get 3 discs now. Yeah. So then I got 3. Oh, okay, great. Nobody noticed. You gained this and this, and then you can go get those cards and add that. Oh my God, this game is so good.
It's really
It's such a neat adventure game, and I was so impressed with the whole thing. And then just passing the thing around that kind of helps what can be a drawback with the app-driven game. And oh my God, and there's so much in there, because I mean, like the tiles that you set up the map are very thin.
Yeah.
But there's a huge stack of them, so there's a lot of content there.
Yep.
So.
For sure, yeah, and like I said before, the minis are really mini.
Oh yeah,
and there's 2 expansions, plus they did some more expansions. Like they just recently did a Kickstarter, a Game Found thing.
Yeah,
they have Baba Yaga coming out, which is the giant chicken house. It's run by a witch. Like it's just, I don't know. I'm almost tempted to buy that expansion and just bring it over here, so we can just play through it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, Destinies is such a good game.
It's good.
So it's one that I've only played solo.
Right.
So playing solo, it plays a little bit different. You're on a time limit, but you don't know what your time limit is. So you're going to play a certain amount, and then it's going to say, hey, you know what? You only got like 3 days left. No.
Yeah,
So,
no kidding.
But they really managed it well
Mm-hmm.
and made it a good game. Now, I probably would have held on to it if the family had shown any interest at all.
Right.
But none of them cared at all. So.
Yeah.
But if you're of my age, like mid 40s, early 50s type of thing, this is just like the old point and click games, like Police Quest,
yeah, right.
and Day of the Tentacle and all that stuff. Like it's very similar to that, just in board game form, but so good. And like the whole dice check mechanism
Oh, it's good.
of moving those tokens up and down. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, this is just like so innovative. It's so perfect for what this is. Like, yeah, it's such a great game. Like, definitely worth investing your time and your money into this one for sure. Like,
that made number 3. So
amazing number 3.
Yeah.
Destinies.
Nice.
Yeah, so good. I want to play some of the expansions and stuff, and it's so good, so good. Okay. Enough blabbering.
Number 2.
Get to some more blabbering now. So my number 2 is a Star Wars themed game. When I originally did my list, this was number 1.
Oh my gosh, you demoted it.
And then the other game was my number 1. And then this was my number 1. And then the other one was my number 1.
So what you're saying is they're very close.
So really, like, I mean, depending on which day it is or
what time of day.
what time of day, it could go either way. So this one, I played a whole bunch with my eldest son, who's a big Star Wars fan.
Nice.
And this is Star Wars in a box.
Okay.
Like, this is, you're playing through the movies.
Oh, fun.
And it's Star Wars Rebellion.
Nice.
So the way Rebellion works is one of you, I guess it's a 4-player game technically, but I would just play it 2-player because you're just basically helping each other play if you're playing 4-player. But what it is one of you is the Rebellion, one of you is the Imperials. And the Rebellion is going to start with almost no people, almost no supplies. And the Imperials are going to start with everything. They get so much stuff and they spread out on the board. And you choose a planet as the Rebellion to where your secret base is going to be.
Oh, so the other player doesn't know.
Yeah. So, and then there's a big deck of planet cards. So you've chosen one of them. And then every round, the Imperials are going to like search planets and they're going to draw these cards to figure out, okay, well, they're not here. They're not here. Let's draw some more cards to figure out where they are. Oh,
that's good.
And you have to build stuff. So you have to, you can develop some new ships and stuff like that. So they go into a queue. So they might take 3 or 4 rounds to build these ships. So as the Imperials, you might have like a couple super Star Destroyers or a Death Star coming out because you can build a Death Star and you can blow up planets. And you can, we had a game where Chewbacca sacrificed himself to Darth Vader to save Obi-Wan.
Oh, geez.
So just kind of like the reverse. So it's very similar. And they came out with an expansion that we threw right in. You can barely even notice. Like, it just added more content.
Nice.
It's just wonderful. So, and you've each got, essentially what you're trying to do is the rebels are trying to outlast the Imperials. So there's a couple of tracks on the left-hand side here, that track, where there's the Imperial symbol at the bottom and the rebel symbol at the top. And you're going to be doing missions each turn. So you're going to be so you're going to send your people out to different planets to do these mission cards that you have. And if you succeed in the mission, you'll gain a point on that scale, or gain 2 points maybe. And the Imperials might try to block you so they can see, well, they're going there, so I'm going to send a guy there as well. And then you'll roll against each other. And then you might have space battles where if you can destroy 3 ships in one battle, you'll score 2 points because that's what one of your goal cards is. And if the rebels ever, I think it's equal where the Imperials are on that track, the rebels win.
Okay, nice.
But the Imperials are searching for the rebel base. And if they ever find and destroy the rebel base
before they, okay, cool.
Then the Imperials.
Oh, that one sounds so good.
It's such a good game. So it's an investment in time for sure. It's like 3 to 4 hours to play it.
Yeah.
But you're really playing through like an alternate reality of Star Wars. Like you could
Oh,
have,
I love it.
yeah, you could have Luke Skywalker frozen in carbonite.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, man, like, oh, I don't even know what to say. And just the delay on that track. Like, man, I really need my ships. I'm the rebels. They're getting close to my base. I need enough so that I can fight them off and maybe escape and establish a new base, because you can hold them off a little bit. But if you don't,
Oh, geez.
yeah, it's so stressful. And I've played probably 6 times now with my son, and we've each played 3 times
Right.
as the rebels or Imperials. And the entire time you think you're losing. Doesn't matter which team you are. You're like, they're so close to me, or man, they have so much stuff, or I'm never going to find, like, you just always feel like you're losing this game until the very last minute. Like, it's so good. Like, the tension is just
nice.
there. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So it's just so. And apparently, this is a remake of War of the Ring or something like that.
Oh.
There's a Lord of the Rings version where,
right,
instead of the rebels, you have a little army fighting off the big hordes, and then you're trying to sneak Frodo to the Mount Doom to ditch their ring. And apparently, they're fairly similar.
Nice.
So
I think I personally would prefer Star Wars.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's just built so great, and you get all the different heroes from it and stuff like that.
Nice.
I'm hoping that they'll throw in. So none of the heroes from the most recent movies, like
right,
like Rey's not in it, Kylo
right,
Ren's not in it. So I'm hoping that they'll eventually build a like I know it won't thematically fit, because you shouldn't have Kylo Ren fighting young Luke Skywalker or whatever. But who cares? Like, come on. But yeah, it's so good.
Nice.
That's my number 2, Star Wars Rebellion.
Very nice. My number 2 is a game that I play with my brother, and he kept bugging me to play it, but it's a 2-player game. And every time we would like get together, we were more than 2 players. So I was like, well, no, not. And I was like, okay, look, I'll come and see you and we'll play it. And then I played it, and then I was like, okay, I need to hunt this one down. You know, I say I have this rule where if they come my path, that means it's meant to be this one. I hunted down. I wanted it.
Okay.
Right. And it was hard to find at first. And then I found it. And then I found it in Red Deer. And it's so good. And I've recently purchased the older version, which is like, this is a reskin of. That's more fantasy themed. But I haven't played that one yet. And this one is kind of army theme. Military. Any ideas?
I want to say like a Memoir 44.
It's Memoir 44.
Okay.
Oh my God, Memoir 44 is good.
Okay.
So you replay the Battle of Normandy, and like you'll pick the scenario you want to do and be like, okay, this is what was happening. And then this is where the troops were. So you rebuild that on your map. And you'll have like depending tanks, and then you'll have your little army guys or whatever. And you kind of build the map depending on what was going on. So you might put rivers, you'll put forests, you'll put all these different things. And then you have the cards as well that's going to say like, this is, you need the cards that, okay, well, this card I can control, you know, my guys on the left side or in the middle, on the right side, and so on. And you need to have the proper card to be able to do that. And kind of, you can move by so much, and then you're attacking, but depending on which side you are, what your goals is to get the medal, and you need so many medals to win the game, and that'll all changes depending on scenario to scenario. But every time I play this game, I'm just left with like, oh my God, this was so good. Oh my God, this was so good. I just love this one. Like after the very first play, I was like, okay, I need it. Now I got it. And then I was like, every time I played, I was like, oh yeah, I know why I love it so much. Because it is so good. And it's weird because I'm not big into army theme. It's not like this army theme is something that, and I got tons of army based games per se. I've got a few because Jerome was into tanks and stuff. So I have a few because of that. But I never want to play Risk again in my life. And then actually this kid came over, and he, like a friend of my kids, and then he brought his game of Risk. Can we please play this? Like, oh my God, this is like the game that I'll say I hate. Yeah. Is the one game that I hate. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine, we'll play it. And then I destroyed them quickly, which was good because we could move on. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? Let me introduce you to something different. And I made him play Memoir 44. And then he kept bugging my kid, can we please go to your house? and play Memoir 44. Can I come over and play this one? And then they had game days at like the local game at Inol's Pandora's Box, and then I would bring them over and they would set it up and play this game. And poor Patrick, because it's not even like Jerome is the one that's into the army, and this was Patrick's friend, and he's not into this theme, and he's like, I just don't want to play this game anymore. But this kid was so into it, and then his parents went and bought this game for him, you know, because he loved it that much. And I get it. It is just such a great game. It is so good. And yeah, it's 1 versus 1. So I recently bought Battle Lore, which is the variation of this game that's more like fantasy themed, but I haven't played it yet. But then it adds like magic and stuff to it, which I don't know how it's gonna work out. And I've got like the first version of Battle Lore. So
which came first though?
I think Battle Lore came first.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Battle Lore is fairly old, and this was like not
newer,
new, but like within the last decade maybe.
Yeah. So
yeah, this is one that I've tried to buy on the used market and missed out by moments, like probably 20 times.
Oh my God.
It's the one, like, you know how it's games that are meant to be. This is one that's just meant to never be in my collection, I think. 'Cause I've like been like send to the message and immediately, missed it by like 2 minutes.
Nice.
So many times. I would love to play this game though. Like,
it's so good.
I've heard it's just the quintessential non-crazy heavy war game.
Yeah, because it'll play fairly quick. 30 minutes to an hour, you get your scenario played. Like, which is a nice time frame to get a game played. And then, you know, after it's like, okay, again. It's like, because it's that good. Oh my God, it's good. I bought a few extra expansion for this one. So we have like different armies as well, like from different countries and stuff. And then they have like new scenarios as well that you can kind of play as well. There's extra map. There's a lot of content that you can get with Memoir that I would love to get.
Wait, you want expansions?
For this one.
Nice. Well, it's your number 2.
It's my number 2. So, but it's good.
Well, and it's Days of Wonder too, right? So, you know the production's going to be solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is one that, this is my biggest, probably my biggest, like, I want to play this and just never have. So, yeah, I mean, it just, and again, like the war theme, I don't care.
Yeah, it's not what appeals to me, but oh my God, the gameplay is good.
But everything I've heard is it's so good. So maybe this one won't speak to me as much, and maybe it's just been, I haven't tried hard enough because of the war theme. So maybe Battle Lore would speak to me a little bit more, but I don't know. I feel like Memoir 44 is like probably the biggest. Like, I don't own it, so it's not on my shelf of shame, but
it's like your grail game.
I wouldn't say grail game, but it's the one that I really want to play. Like, I don't know if I want to own it, but I definitely want to play this game because I know.
So at Malcon.
So this is number 118 that we're playing at Malcon. Perfect. So you're going to play 10? You got 10 fingers, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect.
I'm going to lose them all, but.
I've wanted to play this for so long.
Oh, it's good. Oh
I just
God,
need to bite the bullet and actually buy like the retail.
Yeah.
Go to a store and buy it. So.
Oh, it's good. Well, it's kind of more available now too. Like you can come across this one now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So good. Yeah. Yeah. Memoir 44. Your number.
My number 2. Memoir 44.
Wow.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Well, it had better be.
Yeah.
It's your number 2. You know what would be better than your number 2?
My number 1? Your number 1?
My number 1 for sure.
Huh.
So my number 1 was on the BGG number 1 spot for like 2 years.
Nice.
It's sort of a crossover.
Yeah.
It's fantasy themed, but not generic fantasy. It's kind of modified fantasy in my mind. And it's a pretty heavy game, both weight-wise and gameplay-wise. Because I think it's like 20 pounds or something like that, or 20 kilos or something like that. But it's Gloomhaven. So this game is
number 1, huh?
Number 1.
Wow.
This is just exactly what I want in a game for me. So I play, and I've heard that you can, like, it's great at multiplayer. So I played it 2-player solo.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I just played 2 different characters at a time.
Nice.
But it has everything that I want. It's a dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
There's world exploration. You can open up new areas and find stuff. You can get new weapons and stuff like that. Your characters upgrade almost all the time. And there's hidden stuff. So you can like upgrade your character and get it to the point where he's ready to retire. And then he retires and you open up a new box. You pick one of the ones that are available. So there might be a new species at one point in time that you ran across in one of the things. And it's a brand new species that nobody really ever knew. And they've always been off in the shadows, but now they're kind of coming into society. So once you reach that point in the game, if you retire a guy, that guy's available now.
Oh,
so you can open them up, and all the characters are so different. They play completely different. So you're going to get I think it's like a dozen cards or 14 cards. I think it's different for each character, actually.
Okay.
Because some of the characters have quite a few more cards. But what you're going to do is the main meat of the game is it's a dungeon crawl. So you're going to have this deck of cards, and you're going to work through it, and you're going to choose 2 cards. And you're going to play them down in front of you, and they're going to have numbers on them, speed numbers. So you choose which one you want your speed, and then that's your speed value. And then the other players around the table will choose their speed value, and then you'll check the monsters, and you'll flip them over for their speed that they're going at. And based on whatever number it is, that's the turn that you go. Mm-hmm. So then on your turn, when you have your 2 cards in front of you, you can choose either the top action or the bottom action from one card. But then you have to do the opposite on the other card. So if you choose the bottom action on one, you have to use the top action on the other. So you might have a move and then jump and shoot something, or collect some loot, or battle through it. And it's very puzzly. Like most of the scenarios are set up so that you can't do everything. You can't get all the treasure. You're fighting through it and just struggling to get to the very end.
Yes.
And it's so great. And like, I mean, just that part of the game would be enough. But then on top of it, every time you go to the city, you flip a city card. And on this card, now I don't know if it's in Jaws of the Lion or not, whether they have the city cards and stuff.
They'll have like a scenario, a little kind of storyline thing to
just on
every time you finish the one chapter.
Sure.
And you go back to town.
Yeah.
And then something happens.
Yeah, so similar, or maybe the same, but you draw this card and it'll say you see a vagabond on the side of the road, or you get jumped by some guys or something, and you just make a choice.
Yeah.
And then whatever that choice is, you flip the card over and you get the results of that choice. So you might do something that's super beneficial, or you might do something that's detrimental.
And it's not like always obvious.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. It might depend on the species that you're dealing with too. Like, they might not like generosity. So if you choose to give them a coin, they might be like, yeah, you're weak and we'll hate you forever. And then it might say grab card 267 and add it to the city deck.
Yeah.
So the next time you might draw this card, because there'll be 20 or 30 cards in that deck. So you might draw it. And then the same with characters when they retire. Some of them have you add a card to the city deck or to the wilderness deck.
Cool.
So you might bump into your old character again in the future, and he might help you out or something like that. And then on top of that, you're also exploring the world and opening up all these new areas that you can go to and find new places. And then on top of that, there's hidden puzzles in the game.
Wait, there's more.
That if you don't know about these puzzles, you wouldn't even notice them.
Oh, geez.
So I just stumbled across one, and I was like, wait, that's totally a puzzle. So I sat there for like an hour figuring this puzzle out, and it was just script. And it didn't really apply to anything. But one of them, so this is a little bit of a spoiler, but not huge. So this is something that Keith did with his game, Diceborn Heroes.
Yeah.
Is I found this little script card, and it said, you should look under the box, essentially. Like it said in an old-timey speech, but he's like, lift up your insert. So I lifted up the insert, and there was a bonus there for me.
Oh, fun.
But only because I solved this puzzle.
Right.
And then there was another puzzle that when you decoded it, it said you have to speak to the creators and get this. And there was something that I had to do totally outside of the game. And it was amazing. I'm going to tell you about it as soon as we're off camera, but It blew my mind that this was a thing. So, and I solved all the puzzles, but it's not enough because Frosthaven came out.
Yes.
And there's more puzzles in it.
Oh, geez.
Which relate to this and will solve a bigger mystery.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like he worked it all. So I'm assuming that in Forgotten Circles, which I haven't played yet.
Oh.
So and like this game is so good. I love it so much. I played through all of it and I use the reusable stickers. And I love this game so much, but I'm not ready to play it again. Like I think I'm gonna I've got Frosthaven on the shelf.
Oh, okay,
and I'm just waiting for the books to come out so the maps are a little bit more
easier to
deal with. But in the meantime, I just lent this to basically a stranger.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, like I don't even know the person really.
We're such a trusting bunch.
Well, I mean, in the grand scheme, I played the game. If you need to steal my game, I don't care in the grand scheme. Like, whatever you need, but I want to share it. Like, I want to share this with people. Like, I have Jaws of the Lion. Once I play through all of it, I'm just going to hand it around. Like, because I just want people to play it because it's such a good game, but it's very, very heavy. It's very in depth. There's so much to it, and they made an app. It's a video game version. I don't think it's an app. You have to download it on your computer. But Michael Cox was playing it.
Right.
He had just posted something online and I said, hey, how does it play compared? He's like, it's exactly the same.
Oh, nice.
I was like, well, that's perfect because the biggest stumbling block to this is it's very clunky. There's so many little bits and pieces. So like when you play a new adventure, it takes a while to get going. Like the only reason I was able to play it is I was house sitting for my parents while they were down in the States for like 3 months. So I set it up on their table and every day I came and checked the house and then sat down for 2 hours.
Nice.
So that's the only reason I was able to play because I had a dedicated table right in the middle.
And just left it there.
And just left it there.
Nice.
But like such an amazing game. If you're not willing to play the board game, I highly, highly recommend get whatever
try the
video game version is because it's the same game. Like
it's a good mechanism for sure.
Oh, it's just amazing and rightfully so. I know I said 1 and 2 Switch, but this must be the day where Gloomhaven is my number one by far, and it deserved to be on that list. And to be honest, like if I do another top 100 next year, hopefully it'll be off my list and be replaced with
Frosthaven. Yeah,
because that adds like crafting and stuff into it.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, like
okay, cool.
Yeah, so good. But that's my number one, Gloomhaven.
Nice.
And they're coming out with they had like some little Gloomhaven Days event.
Okay, yeah.
And they released a few little like some miniatures and stuff, which would be crazy. It was like $300 worth of miniatures because there's so many monsters. But they also released a little mini box called Buttons and Bugs. Okay. And it's a little miniature version of Gloomhaven.
Oh, no way.
Just with little tiny creatures. So I think you're shrunk down and you're fighting bugs or something like that.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I think it's just so witty. Isaac's so good at what he does. So
very nice.
Anything with his name on it, I'd play, except Founders of Gloomhaven. But that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's okay. This is amazing.
This makes up for it.
Amazing. Okay. Now I'm going to go. Okay.
All right. My number one. Do you know what it is?
Oh, your number one. Is it a crossover?
Yep.
Oh, it is. Is it good?
Yep.
Did I like it?
Yep. Well, it's a crossover.
How high
made
was
your
it?
top 100. I don't know. Let me see. Is it recent?
Was it in the last couple of days? Oh, you're flipping back quite a ways.
It was today.
Oh, it was today. Okay, so I don't want to look. What did I have today? It wasn't Mansions of Madness.
No.
Did you have Blood Rage already?
No.
Is your number one game of all time Blood Rage?
Yes.
Wow, that's shocking, but totally understandable.
It's such a great game. Plus, what makes this game my number one out of all the game is that Lee feels the same.
Oh,
so it hits the table often, and we've recently played it again, and then I was like, okay, yeah, it's good. Like, and every time you finish this game, it feels like it was so epic, and it was so great. Even if you lost or won or whatever, like, it's just a great feeling about it. And then how you're gonna there's engine building mechanism a little bit to this based on how the upgrades you're going to give yourself and how you're going to, like, there's one that if your boat is destroyed, you get to bring it back.
Yep.
You know, like there's one that if you like, okay, if you lose a battle and you go to Valhalla, well, you actually get points for them there. And then if they die in Ragnarok, you actually get extra points for that as well. So there's like, okay, I'm going to destroy everybody and it's going to be amazing. And then, but then you're too strong and then you win the battle. But you get the points for the battle anyways. Like there is, and it's so cool when you're like, my goal is to get destroyed when the province get destroyed because of Ragnarok. Yeah. And Lee's he's trying to get sent to Valhalla because if he has so many there, his mission is if he has more than that. Like, so we're kind of helping each other, but we're not. Oh my God, this game is good.
It's just amazing. So like when I talked about it, I didn't mention the quest cards at all.
Right, yeah,
so one of the cards that you could draft is a quest card. And it just says have area majority in one of the sections. So not the whole section, but just one of the little individual provinces. And when you complete it, you get bonuses and score points. And yeah, like so many of them are so good. Like
it's great. Oh my God, this game is good.
We played a game, the previous game to like the semifinal or whatever right. in the tournament that we played. And somebody had the boat that came back. Oh no, it was Sam in the final one.
Yeah.
He had this thing.
It was amazing.
This jerk had it set up that he when his boat died, he got like 12 points.
Yeah.
So he would just fight all the time with it.
And kill the boat.
And make sure the boat died right away. And then it would come back into his supply instead of going to Valhalla. So then he could just put it out right again. And then fight and lose because it's weak compared to everything else in there. So and then die and get 12 points. And he scored like 60 points or something like that.
He had a record game. That was his record.
Yeah, like 220 or 260 points or something ridiculous like
267, I think, or something. Yeah, it was unreal.
Yeah.
And then during that game, I kept having this, okay, I got my missions card, but I kept waiting to bring them out. And it doesn't cost any rage to do your missions.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, trying to get what I wanted done before somebody got in the way or something. But then this other guy kept having this thing that would take my last rage away. Yeah. So if you have 0 rage, you cannot do any more action, like bring your free mission.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah,
like that just cost me like 30 points. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And oh God, that was an epic game.
Yeah, it's so good. Like I hope they reprint all the little extra fun stuff too, so that us who missed out on that very first Kickstarter, like I mean it's gotta be, what was Blood Rage? Do you have the year on it?
Oh no, I didn't write it down in there. I got tired of writing all of it down. I was just title at the end.
That's fair. I felt obligated to do it. I think it was my number 7. Right?
Yeah, I think it was.
So it's 2015.
Yeah.
So 8 years ago. So probably 9 or 10 years ago was the Kickstarter for it.
Right.
So, and I don't think they like had thousands and thousands of them out there. So that stuff is really, really hard to get a hold of.
Nice.
So I'd love it if they reprinted some of that just to give us a chance to get that.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good. Oh my God, it's good.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what an amazing way to finish off.
A top 100?
Oh.
That's amazing. So yeah, we went through our top 100 game of all time. And this is, number 1, because it's just so good.
Well, number 1 was Gloomhaven. Number 2 is Blood Rage.
Right. Okay.
No, amazing. So good.
Yeah. No, that's great. So like, this was your first time doing a top 100. What did you think?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to. I'll do another top 100 next year. I don't know if I'll film it or not, but I'll definitely do one and keep, because I've already. So since we started this list, like 3 months ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I've got
your list has changed. 7
games that are there, and I've got like 1 that would be in my top 10.
Oh wow!
So like. It's just amazing.
They have so many good games that comes out all the time. Yeah.
Well, and the quality of games and then, like the older games that I just haven't been exposed to yet.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's going to be some old hidden gem.
Maybe Battle Lore.
maybe Battle Lore will end up, or maybe Memoir will end up in my top 10.
Oh,
Who knows?
I'm sure it will. So
Like,
good. But yeah.
So
And I
cool.
know, like, my on my shelf of shame, I have over 160 games. But they're games that I've acquired because I know they're amazing and I've heard such good things.
Sure.
You know, so there is definitely tons of potential of shifting things around for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an ever-changing thing for sure. So, like, even just looking around this room, I can see 3 or 4 that I would put in my top 50 now, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good. And like, yeah, thanks for suckering me or pressuring me into doing this.
Yeah, because it was just like, oh, I'm going to do a top 100. And I was like, so are you filming it? What are you doing with it? And he's like, I wasn't going to. And I was like, why don't we?
I was just going to write it down on a piece of paper and then have a piece of paper that said that. So
nice.
But yeah, no, I'm really glad you invited me to do it. And
yeah,
it was fun. So,
and then, like we've said at the very beginning, you know, so you've seen both of our top 100 now.
Yeah.
Who do you relate with the most?
Yeah, totally. You know what? Either way, I'm fine with it.
Of course.
I'm not as competitive as her,
What?
so it's fine.
I'm not really competitive because I lose all the time.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. See, and I don't care, so it's all good. But no, and I'd like to see like write in the comments. Like I'm actually reading them now, and I'd like to see like everybody who watches it just write in the comment what your number 1 game is.
Yeah.
And why.
Yeah.
Because
maybe we haven't played it and we should.
Tell me what your number 1 game is and why I should play it.
Yeah.
So, because I would love to. I want to know what your favorite games are. Like that's, I don't know. I want to see all these amazing games that everybody loves.
It's just like we're never done, right? Like it's not like, okay, I've got all the games I need. I'm satisfied now.
No.
That's
why
be.
my collection rotates all the time.
So. And that's why mine's just out of control and spreading everywhere.
There you go. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it.
No, and thanks so much for Travis for coming and doing this with me. Having like not done this at all, and then just like, here, let's put you in front of a camera. No pressure.
You know what? And we were worried right away that I would swear because I swear a lot.
And it was me.
In real life, I don't think I swore one single time this whole 100.
My swears were pretty mild.
No, for sure. But I'm proud of myself for that. So
good for you.
But yeah, no, thanks so much for having me on, and thanks for commenting and stuff like that. Let me know if I should like even think about doing stuff like this in the future, or am I too boring or whatever. That's fine. But
the dad jokes.
Yeah, the dad.
What was your favorite dad joke? Because there was lots.
No, there were none. They were all solid humor. No dad jokes at all. Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.